You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2048 2048 Chapter 452, Human Gathering Realm of 10,000 Races 4. A box made from the Sun-Moon Dragon Horn. Sect Master Tianyi attached great importance to this box. He didn't know whether it was given by the invincible human or the Tianyi celestial race, but the sect master of the 7th level of the Sun-Moon realm treated it as a treasure and offered it to him. Su Yu took out the box. At first, he often polished this thing and prepared to open it. However, his strength was weak, so he never opened it. Later on, he had a lot of things to do and had many treasures, so he didn't bother about it anymore. What's inside this box? Su Yu was a little curious. Even Zhu Tiandao, who was at the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm, couldn't see through this thing. It might be a good thing, but of course, it might not have anything. The 7th level of the Sun-Moon realm is a treasure, could it be a carrier? Su Yu fell into deep thought. This possibility was very high. At the 7th level of the Sun-Moon, reaching the 9th level wasn't too far away, so he couldn't use it for the time being. However, he had to prepare in advance. At the 9th level, he could use it to capture the past and the future. If the Tianyi celestial race gave this to Sect Master Tianyi, that would make sense. Or did that guy with the pattern on his left arm give it to him? Su Yu was not too sure. From the memory he saw, Sect Master Tianyi had appeared alone when he received the box. There were no clues as to who had given it to him. Su Yu played with the box and began to infuse his willpower and yuan qi. He was much stronger now. It shouldn't be difficult to open this, right? After trying it out, Su Yu judged that it was alright. He should be able to open it in 3 to 5 days. As expected, he was much stronger now. It was not too difficult to open this thing now. Taking advantage of the Great Xia Manor sealing the city, he would first complete the 59 casting. After a few great battles and being devoured by the death aura several times, the 59 casting would be completed soon after consuming the Heaven Yuan Qi and Heaven and Earth Mystic Light. In these few days, he would probably be able to enter the 59 casting once the seal of the Great Xia Manor was lifted. Just as Su Yu continued to cast his body and waited for an opportunity. There was also some chaos in the celestial battlefield. First, Su Yu erupted and the stone sculpture made its move. Not long after the whereabouts of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion were revealed, Xiao Longwu appeared. This time, it also attracted the attention of many people. This fellow might have wanted to avenge his cousin, but he somehow managed to find the position of an elder of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. He killed a faceless elder in the northern battle zone of the Immortal Clan and quickly fled before disappearing again. This time, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion was really going to cry. The elders were killed one after another. This time, the experts of the various races didn't interfere, but soon, the borders of the human race changed. More invincible experts gathered. At the same time, the invincible experts of the celestial and demon races were negotiating with the human race. They wanted to arrange for some geniuses of the various races to train in the human realm today. Of course, it was only for training and sightseeing. They didn't have any other intentions. They hoped to obtain the permission of the human race. Visiting group. It was actually possible to sneak in, but even if they did, their tracks would be exposed sooner or later. It was better to enter openly. On this day, near the Eastern Rift Valley, Invincible was negotiating through the air. The Great Qin King is all at the Eternal Realm. To put it bluntly, the geniuses from various races want to go to the Great Xia Manor's southern origin to see if they can obtain some benefits. Of course, it wasn't for nothing. The Star Mansions would also open. The human race's quota hasn't been decided yet. According to tradition, the human race only obtained 300 to 400 quotas in previous years. The Star Mansions had a total of 4 sides. One side had 9 levels of passageways, one level had 90 quotas, one side could enter 810 people, and another side had a special passageway that could enter 360 people. A total of 3,600 living beings could enter. The human race was not bad, but their strength was not as great as the celestial, demonic, and immortal races. In the past, they could only get 300 to 400. At this moment, an expert smiled and said, "This time, the various races want to give some young people a chance. Nanyuan might be an opportunity, and the Starry Manor is also an opportunity. If the human race agrees to let the geniuses of the various races enter and ensure their safety, one person will enter, and our race will give up one slot." The gods, devils, and immortals each had their own side, with 810 spots. Clearly, it was the experts of the 3 races who were negotiating. The great Qin king said coldly, "No exchange." Someone said faintly, "No exchange." That's still going in. One in the open, one in the dark. If they really entered in the dark, your human race might not be able to find them even now, so why bother? If they enter in the open, at least you know who went, right? An expert chuckled and said, "They are all young people. There are also quite a number of young people from your human race. I heard that in some small worlds, there are still some experts from the many divine languages department who have come out. Now that they have come to the heavenly battlefield, it seems a little boring. Why don't we let them all go to the human realm to have some fun? We can also temper them a little." The moment these words were said, some people's expressions changed. On the other side, there was a demon king. He said with a cold smile, "How can the small world nurture geniuses? We don't want to exterminate the many divine languages department. We only want to kill Yi Beishan's branch. This branch has offended too many people. We aren't so cold-blooded and heartless towards the other many divine languages department." He had a playful tone. "Did you think that we didn't know? What a joke. The infiltration of the various races into the human race was stronger than you could imagine. The geniuses of the multi-divine literature department in the small world also needed resources, and guidance, right? The most crucial point was that they needed at least the outline of the multi-divine literature battle techniques, right? Some of the large clans probably knew more about the inheritance of the multi-divine literature battle techniques in the other manors than some of the unrivaled humans. How many inheritances were missing, and how many powerful clans were unrivaled? The multi-divine literature department, to be honest, they were only afraid of Yi Beishan's lineage. This branch was the key. The other multi-god literature departments weren't too worried about them. Invincibility was so easy to prove. There were already people who had succeeded. All these years, only Yi Batian, or rather, the Great Xia Mansion's multi-god literature department, had been able to see this hope. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2049. 2049 Chapter 452, Human Gathering Realm of 10,000 Races 5. This was also one of the reasons why the Great Xia Manor had been suppressed the most, resulting in only a handful of people remaining in this faction. Looking at the Daming Manor, there were dozens of people, and Hu Xianqing was also a mountain and sea expert, so not many people were targeting him. The other party had exposed all of this in a single sentence, making some of the humans feel helpless. The great Qin king's expression didn't change. It was indeed difficult to hide this from the 10,000 races. However, he didn't expect these people to infiltrate even deeper. Just as the human race was about to let these geniuses move around, the other party found out. The last time they talked about this, it seemed like Invincible was the only one. Of course, to leave the small world, someone had to handle it. It might not necessarily be Invincible who had leaked the news. Perhaps among these people, there might be spies from the various races in the small world. Or it might be more straightforward. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion might have planted people in the 2 pavilions, and the information was bought. This organization was very troublesome. The great Qin king thought to himself. The other party was right. If they didn't enter, the other party would sneak in through some channels, just like the heaven hunting pavilion. If they did, they would be able to obtain some information. The 10,000 races were interested in the southern origin historical remnant for many reasons. It had to do with Su Yu and the location of the southern origin, which was within the Great Xia Manor. After a long while, the great Qin king said indifferently, if you want to go in, you can. But, safety is not guaranteed. There's no need to guarantee safety, someone laughed. However, we also don't wish for eternal attacks to appear, or to put it another way, there will be some situations where the strong bully the weak. Experts below the age of 100 of the human race can casually attack and kill them. That would be their incompetence. Confidence. Arrogance. You, a human expert under the age of 100, casually attack. The great Qin king said coldly, all right, then I'll recall Xia Longwu. He's not old, and I think he'll be happy to play with you. Everyone was silent. F***ck. They had forgotten about this. Which genius could rival Xia Longwu? A knife and a child. If Xia Longwu attacked, stop playing around, all the geniuses would die. The group of unrivaled experts felt awkward, and for a moment, it was difficult to speak. Soon, an immortal king laughed, the great Qin king must be joking. Even though Xia Longwu has yet to attain Dao, he is still known as the Blood Butcher King. How could he lower himself to the level of a junior? Stop fooling around. Let's have a good talk. Why must he be so decisive? If Xia Longwu really wanted to go, there would be no more playing around. At this moment, the great Xia king coldly said, you want to go to the southern Yuan? The southern Yuan is the territory of my great Xia manor. If you want to go, you can go. Have you asked me? Have you asked my saber? Some people secretly ridiculed him. Very quickly, someone laughed and said, why do you have to do this, great Xia king? It's not like the great Xia manor doesn't have geniuses from various clans. Xia Longwu is about to attain Dao and attain Dao in a friendly manner. It's also better than now. This could be considered a threat that was half soft and half hard. If he was easy to talk to, then Xia Longwu would attain Dao and we would be easier to talk to. If it was not easy to talk to him, then Xia Longwu would probably find it very difficult to attain Dao. The great Xia king said gloomily, there's no need to constantly use this to threaten me. Even if you succeed, can you really let Longwu off? My son thinks too little, including the 10,000 heavenly saints. He always feels that there's a chance to reconcile with you. How foolish. Will you? I don't think so. The invincible experts were silent, but there was still an immortal king who smiled and said, Great Xia King, Xia Long's attainment of the Tao is also a good thing. Even if the other races don't agree, our immortal race is happy to see it happen. Hypocrite. Many people curse secretly, the immortal king of the Celestials, has been hypocritical to death. You Celestials, you don't care about that? I don't believe it. Once again Invincible said, go to the Southern Yuan quota, in exchange for the Star Mansion quota, this deal, the human race is not at a disadvantage. It's not like the humans didn't pay the price. At this moment, the great Qin king was deep in thought, he said, if you want to go in, you can. No one will guarantee their safety. I can only say that the experts of the two holy lands will not attack them, above the sun and moon level. In addition, it's fine for the various races to enter. The geniuses will be given 1 slot, and the sun and moon will be given 2. I'm talking about the early stage, middle stage, and late stage, 8 slots. I'll let you in. I'll give you that slot. The great Qin king said coldly, the slots I'm talking about are outside of the human race's quota. This time, when the Starry Palace opens, the human race will need 600 slots. Some people were silent, while others laughed coldly. Dream on. At this moment, a dragon expert said, the East has always been split equally between our race and the human race. The East has 810 quotas, but the human race wants 600. Doesn't that mean that our race only has 210? The great Qin king said coldly, if it wasn't for the suppression of the gods and demons, would the dragon race be worthy? He was giving them face, but they didn't want it. Do you really think that we can't do anything to you? If the dragon race wants to be the vanguard to break through the human race, then let's give it a try. Before the human race is destroyed, we will definitely wipe out your dragon race. When he said this, his killing intent was awe-inspiring. The dragon race expert who spoke was slightly startled and felt his heart palpitate. The great Qin king. The number one expert of the human race. Humph. The great Qin king snorted coldly, I'm not going overboard, nor do I want more. If 600 isn't enough, then 500 it is. This is the bottom line. Don't bargain anymore. If the dragon race is dissatisfied, feel free to come and fight. Don't treat the tolerance of the human race as fear. In the past, the quota for the eastern region had always been split between the human race and the dragon race. There were also some demon races that had joined in. At this moment, the Dragon King was a little frightened. He said again, if the human race takes 500, then our race will have to split these quotas with the other ancient demon races. Yes. The great Qin King lightly said, that's right. If your dragon race has the ability, then there's no need to split it. You're not even afraid of the human race, so why are you afraid of these ancient races and small races? Or do you feel that, the human race is weaker than these ancient races and small races? Silence. That Dragon King thought a lot, and soon, someone laughed and said, Great Qin King, there's no need to do this. This time, there are quite a number of geniuses and experts who have entered, and the human race will get quite a number of spots this time. Why don't we take a step back? The human race will get 400 spots, and the other 100 spots will be given to each of the top 100 tribes, one for each family. This way, it won't make the top 100 tribes angry. Small clans also had human rights. Of course, we won't divide it up. You humans can divide it up and take out 100 spots. The great Qin King's eyes turned cold. Another godly king smiled and said, Great Qin King, there are quite a few. This time, the various clans will have 100 geniuses and perhaps Tao protectors. According to the agreement, we will give you humans 200 to 300 spots. With so many spots, you might end up with more than our clans. That's right, Great Qin King. The destiny of the Starry Manor is even greater than the destiny of the southern elements. The human race must put themselves on the opposite side of the myriad races. The great Qin King said coldly, don't give me that crap. Can you let us humans take your god and devil destiny? Ha! If you want it, great Qin King, you can arrange for human geniuses to come to our world to train. A demon king laughed. Whatever, come. Human geniuses, just come. The great Qin King was instantly blocked. These words sounded somewhat helpless. There were too few experts of the human race. Most of the pillars of the human race were born 300 years ago. That era gave birth to a large number of unrivaled experts. In that era, the unrivaled experts of the human race also used up some of the opportunities in the human realm. This was something that couldn't be helped. As a result, in the past few hundred years, the younger generation of the human race was unable to surpass their seniors. It was not that their talent was not good, it was that their timing was not good, their opportunities were not enough, and their resources were not enough. Moreover, that era was special. The danger was great, and the opportunities were great. The current human realm also lacked that sense of danger. Now that they were blocked, the great Qin King felt a little embarrassed. He cursed inwardly. Sooner or later, he would teach them a lesson. Right now, the various races were talking about negotiations, but in reality, they were forcing them. If they didn't want to trade, they had to force their way in. Not only would they force their way in, but the border would also be more dangerous in order to pin them down. The great Qin king was silent for a while before secretly communicating with the unrivaled experts. After a long while, he said, "Then that's it. Great kindness." The group of experts laughed loudly, as expected. The humans were silent. They didn't seem to be happy. Even if they obtained a few spots in the Starry Sky Palace, they weren't that happy. On this day, the humans and the various races reached an agreement to allow some geniuses and Tao protectors to enter. On this day, Lord Xia and the others also received the news and smiled brightly. They had guessed it. Previously, they thought that they were infiltrating, but they didn't expect that they would enter directly. This was pretty good. There should be some movement in the southern Yuan ancient domain. If there was no more movement, what would they do if they ran away? This time, the tiny Grand Xia Manor was going to attract the experts of the heavens and geniuses of the heavens. It was also on this day that in the various small worlds, the human geniuses. Some were arrogant, some were low-key, and some were profound. All of them headed towards the human realm. Human realm, they came. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2050. 2050 Chapter 453, Suyu in Charge 1. Boom. With a muffled sound, Yuan Qi vibrated. In the cultivation room, Yuan Qi churned as Suyu completed the 59th casting. With the 59th casting completed, his physical strength had almost officially reached 500,000 apertures. This was the sign of a top genius of a large clan at the Sun-Moon realm. Only by reaching this standard would one have the face to say that one was a genius of a large clan. At this moment, Suyu had officially stepped into this domain. The domain of the strong. Sun and Moon, the sun and moon of a large clan. No matter where they were placed, they were all geniuses and strong practitioners. Suyu's physical body trembled as his qi and blood churned. It was as if he could hear the sound of waves crashing. His strong physical body made Suyu confident that he could completely kill Yuan Qingdong now. That fellow's physical body was too weak. As for the divine script, he couldn't tell how strong it was. It was a waste of his title as an invincible descendant. Standing up, Suyu retracted his aura and the golden light was contained within. Not only that, at this moment, the Yuan Qi in his 144 apertures seemed to be about to transform. That was the sign of Ling Yun's first change. A few months ago, he had already begun his first change. Suyu had never paid much attention to it. The main reason was that there were too few origin apertures that had transformed. He didn't care too much about it. Now, once he completed the first change, Suyu's strength would definitely increase again. I'm stronger. Suyu smiled and put on the white mask. A moment later, he saw Bai Yi's message. The experts and geniuses of various races had entered the realm in the past 2 days. Bai Yi had already brought a few white-masked experts and was rushing to the southern origin region. He asked Xianjiu where to meet him. The meeting place was decided by Suyu. This was also because of his respect and trust. In the past few days, the great Xia Manor was in turmoil. The city gates were sealed off and there was an endless amount of killing. A large number of disciples of the myriad clans were killed, including some spies from other factions, as well as some disobedient experts of the myriad clans. The Xia clan was like a mad devil, scouting everywhere. More than 10 suns and moons swept across the area. Even White Mask had an unlucky person hidden in the great Xia Manor and was quickly killed. As for Xianjiu's news, it had never appeared. It was as if he had completely disappeared. Right now, the various factions were in an uproar. The 10 million people in the manor city could not be sealed off forever. Today, the great Xia Manor was about to open. No more sealing off the city. Gather at the Starfall Mountain near the southern Yuan. That's a good place. Su Yu replied. Bai Yi had been staring at it the entire time. Seeing this, he quickly said, Starfall Mountain. The Great Ming Manor's Great Ming King might not have left yet. Starfall Mountain might not be safe. There's no harm at the border. Law enforcers, please believe in my intuition. This is the intuition that I've escaped death many times. Bai Yi had nothing to say. As for Su Yu, he quickly sent a message to Zhu Tiandao. We'll gather at Starfall Mountain. Manor head, please don't come and sweep. What am I afraid of? My own family. Since I've asked them not to sweep, then we won't sweep. It's not just the Daming Manor. It's the same for the Great Xia Manor. With me around, what's there to be afraid of? Zhu Tiandao suddenly said, this is the first time we've met. Where did we meet? Su Yu was speechless. What was he doing? The Xia clan's restaurant. Recite the contents of the Art of Longevity for me. Su Yu was speechless. What was wrong with old Zhu? Damn. You're still trying to test me? He had a rough idea of what was going on, so he directly said, over at the ancient city, it was my big brother stone sculpture who helped out. Manor head, don't think too much about it. Cut the crap and recite it once. Su Yu was depressed. F***ck. He had no choice but to quickly write down the Art of Longevity. Damn it, who did old Zhu learn it from? Did everyone like to talk like this now? Could it be that everyone had learned how to communicate with me in the heaven hunting pavilion? How tiring. After he finished writing it down, Zhu Tiandao said, forget it, I'll trust you this time. Why are you going to Starfall Mountain? To bring people to work. Zhu Tiandao roughly understood and quickly said, just don't bring people to my Great Ming Mansion. Just do your best in the Great Xia Mansion. Also, we've captured 3 white-masked men here. Do you need them? No need, just kill them. Otherwise, those people will betray us and drag me down instead. No need. Who knew if these people would betray them? Of course. Very quickly, Su Yu continued, we can also put them back. If anything happens again, one of them will be the scapegoat. I have both wisdom and courage, and I've discovered the traitor. Don't say that. Manor head, just let him go. With my discerning eyes, I can see through the traitor with a single glance. At the same time, I can also gain some face for myself. Zhu Tiandao was speechless. This fellow, you're really good. However, what Su Yu said made sense. At the critical moment, he could still be the scapegoat. If Su Yu were to discover him, he could also gain some impression. Alright, then I'll put it back after I'm done. You have to be careful not to tell them your identity. If something really happens and you sell these guys, those guys who sell themselves for glory will not be welcomed anywhere. When Zhu Tiandao said these words, Su Yu felt that he was being pointed at. He quickly said, don't worry, Manor head. I've left the Great Xia Manor and I promise not to leave the Great Ming Manor. Although I have the boss of the stone sculptures, I still treat the Manor head as my grandfather. Zhu Tiandao cursed silently. Go to hell. Your father can't afford to be your grandfather. This kid was willful. One day, in front of those stone sculptures, he would call them grandfather and then call them big brother. Zhu Tiandao seriously suspected that this kid was trying to trick him to death. He wasn't a human. He couldn't be bothered to talk to him. He quickly said, there's one more thing to remind you. Many experts from the Divine Literature Department have come this time. Oh. Some of the large manors are secretly groomed like that. Oh. Their reactions are so calm. Zhu Tiandao was surprised. Su Yu smiled. He replied, "It has nothing to do with them. I'm not going to vent my anger on them. They cultivate their own manner. Head, you're looking down on me too much. To put it bluntly, we're not the same type of people. We don't even know each other. If the large manners are willing to spend money to groom us, then they should be well groomed. I don't care. The only thing I care about is that we shouldn't be used as targets. The rest has nothing to do with me." You're tuning into the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2051. 2051 Chapter 453 Su Yu in Charge 2. He didn't really care about this, but he was telling the truth. Whether these hidden geniuses were strong or weak, that was their own business. What does it have to do with me? They didn't eat a single cent of my money. If they didn't provoke me, I wouldn't be bothered to find trouble with them. What's wrong with them? If I had the time, I would be able to cast a body once. Zhu Tiandao was a little surprised by his attitude. Su Yu gave him the feeling that he hated the heavens and the earth. However, when he returned this time, even though Su Yu had committed countless murders, his mood seemed to be much more cheerful than before. This kid had changed a little. He probably didn't even notice it himself. If Su Yu had mentioned this before he left, this kid might have exploded. However, this time, he really didn't care. It's good that you think this way. Those people are also humans. There are also people who are doing their best for the humans. Of course, it's fine if I don't provoke you. If I provoke you, I'll leave it to you to handle the situation. After all, there's no one in Daming Manor. These words were too real. The real Su Yu was a little speechless. Are you trying to incite me to f*ck them? I'm so bored. Alright, I got it. Manor head, let's not chat anymore. I have a lot of things to do. I'm going to get busy. Pooey. In Daming Manor, Zhu Tiandao spat. What are you pretending for? No matter how busy you are, do you still have a manor head like me? Little brat, if you have any confidence, you can be smug. I hate people like you the most. If you have the guts, don't go back to Daming Manor. When you come back, I won't like you either. You only know how to work for the Xia family. Why don't you work for the Zhu family? Old Zhu ate a lemon. Xian Jiu killed Xia Sini. One look and you could tell that he was working for the Xia family. This kid, have you forgotten how hateful the Xia family is? I was the one who brought you back from the great Xia mansion and raised you up. Sigh. Old Zhu sighed. Forget it, forget it. I'll think of a way to verify the Tao first. No, I'll think of a way to enter the peak of the Sun-Moon realm first. I'm a cultivator who just entered the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. I can't aim too high. Some people even lie to themselves when they are ruthless. For example, Su Yu. At this moment, he was saying goodbye to others and his friends from last time. He said with a reluctant expression, I have to go. I have to leave the great Xia mansion. It's too chaotic here. My brother is busy and can't take care of me. I have to go back to the great Ming mansion. Brother bye, I don't know when we will meet again after this farewell. Yeah, brother bye. Something happened to us this time. Otherwise, we would at least have a few drinks. The few young men and women were reluctant to leave. One of the girls was also reluctant to leave, which scared Su Yu so much that his heart trembled. What? I'm not familiar with you, so why do you look like you're going to die? After saying goodbye for a while, Su Yu turned around and glanced at the Cultivation Heart Pavilion. Soon, he looked at a certain direction. It was the Weapon Forging Academy. This time, he didn't go to see Zhao Li. Bai Junqing went to see Zhao Li for a reason, but, forget it. The incident with Cui Lang last time had attracted a lot of attention from Zhao Li. Everyone knew that Cui Lang was Su Yu, so of course, they had already guessed the situation. It was normal for Zhao Li to cast his weapon and bring Su Yu along. If he went to see Zhao Li again, he would not be able to use his identity. He would definitely attract the attention of others. Since he was not planning to go far this time, he did not have to worry about not having the chance to see him again. After leaving the great Xia prefecture capital, Su Yu did not travel alone this time. The Xia family had a dragon martial guard that was going to Nanyuan, so he brought Su Yu along. Once they reached Nanyuan, they would not be far from Daming prefecture. They could think of a way to return to Daming prefecture. Recently, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion had not made any movements, so the danger was not too great. Dragon Martial Guards. Su Yu followed the Dragon Martial Guards and felt a little emotional. Back then, he felt that the Dragon Martial Guards were omnipotent and had countless experts. Now that he looked at it again, it was just like this. A group of Sky Realm experts was not very useful at this time. Of course, the soldiers of the Xia family were still very strong in battle. He did not know if they knew any joint attack formations or something like that. The probability was a little, but they could still deal with some small characters. Along the way, the Dragon Martial Guards did not say much. Su Yu was also silent. There was no other way. No one paid attention to him. Everyone just brought him along. Recently, something happened to the Xia family and the Dragon Martial Guards were unable to catch the murderer. They were in a bad mood and did not have the mood to talk to outsiders. They set off in the morning and arrived at the southern Yuan before dawn the next day. At that moment, the Yuan Qi above the southern Yuan city was fluctuating intensely. The southern Yuan Qi was weak. Even if experts were cultivating in Yuan Qi liquid, it was easy for it to cause Yuan Qi fluctuations. This time, there were many experts. Su Yu did not even investigate. With a simple look, there were at least 7 to 8 suns and moons in the tiny southern Yuan city. The thick Yuan Qi beams proved that these fellows did not have any intention of hiding. They were quite bold. This was something that could be seen. There might be even more that could not be seen. It's Nanyuan. The leading major glanced at Su Yu and said indifferently, "You are a member of the Bai family. Is there anyone here to escort you back? If not, stay in Nanyuan for a few days to avoid some trouble." "No need." Su Yu said indifferently, "No need. I'll go back myself. Someone from Daming Manor is coming to pick me up, my friend." "All right then." The Dragon Martial Guard did not say much. Since that was the case, he would go back by himself. He was also busy and did not have the mood to bother with Su Yu. At the same time, a golden dragon was pulling a golden carriage and flying towards Xinglua Mountain. This was Zhu Tiandao's mount. Of course, at this moment, the person in the carriage was not Zhu Tiandao, but an Ing. There was another person, Bai Junsheng. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2052. 2052 Chapter 453, Su Yu in Charge 3. Bai Junsheng was dumbfounded. "Sir, where are we going?" "Nowhere. I'm going out for a walk. I'll let you know and go back immediately." "Sir." Bai Junsheng looked like he was about to cry. "Let me go. What did I do? I've been locked up for so many days. Who did I offend? Did that Zhu Hongliang rat me out? I didn't hit him." Aning ignored him. "Whatever you say, my mission is to bring you around here and then, bring you back to Daming Manor. The rest has nothing to do with me. As for why I did it, it has nothing to do with me. Since the manor head said so, then I'll do it. I'll give you a ride on the manor head's imperial carriage. You'll have some face. Let's go for a ride." After flying for a while, they crossed Starfall Mountain. At this moment, Aning received a message. "You can come back now." Shadow did not waste any time and quickly pulled Bai Junsheng out of the carriage. He shouted, "Jin Long, let's go back." "Okay." Jin Long spoke in the dialect of Daming Mansion. He did not ask why and brought them back. Bai Junsheng was fixed outside the carriage by Shadow. He could not speak and was pitifully blowing the strong wind. He almost wanted to curse. "What did I do? What do you guys want? I was locked up for a few days and now I'm out here. Why did you tie me outside the carriage for no reason? Did you mean to behead me?" At the same time, in the Starfall Mountain, a group of people were hiding in the dark. Someone said in a low voice, "This Daming Mansion is really ostentatious." They took one Bai Junsheng back and even used 2 suns and moons. Since when did the Bai family have so much face? It's just because of Bai Feng's face. Bai Junsheng is also a troublemaker. Last time, he was involved with the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Of course, we have to take him back safely. Someone glanced at him and didn't really care. This wasn't the first time the Daming Manor had done this. The manor head didn't look like a manor head. He looked invincible. 2 days ago, the Daming King even held a beauty contest on the top floor of the City Lord's manor. Are you convinced? Now, he might have left, or he might not have left. It was fine as long as he did not provoke the Daming Mansion. These bunch of salted fish. If you did not provoke them, they would not bother with you. As the few of them spoke, someone quickly said, "This time, the boss asked us to keep an eye on them." "What are we keeping an eye on?" "Keeping an eye on the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. The boss said that the Heaven Hunting Pavilion will join forces with us next. There will be a high-level meeting, of course, I don't know if it's true or not. It might be a cover-up. Let's keep an eye on them first. If there's a meeting, it might be over here." "Oh, I see." This group of people chatted idly and didn't pay too much attention to it. They were just small characters. They might not have received accurate information. It might just be a cover-up. At this moment, in a small valley in the Starfall Mountain, Su Yu's figure flashed and appeared. A moment later, numerous figures appeared on the opposite side. Xian Jiu. On the opposite side, Bai Yi glanced at Su Yu and then looked into the distance. "I thought you weren't coming. There were people from Daming Mansion just now. 2 Sun-Moon Realm cultivators. I thought they were going to search the mountain." Su Yu said indifferently, "Daming Mansion? I understand this mansion. Don't go to their territory to find trouble. They won't care about us." "That's true." Bai Yi said inside, "Our Heaven Hunting Pavilion has lost many white faces in Daming Mansion. Some of them are dead and some of them might have been captured. We haven't been able to contact them. We don't know the details." Su Yu said coldly, "It doesn't matter. When the Heaven Hunting Pavilion becomes bigger in the human realm, it will naturally be able to threaten Daming Mansion." Bai Yi smiled, "You've made a great contribution this time. The rest will depend on you." Law Enforcer Miao Zhan. Su Yu's killing intent was boiling. "I'd rather see Huang Jiu's corpse in front of me. He might not have left the Great Xia Mansion, but I'll definitely find him. Law Enforcer Kai Yi has great trust in me and has given me the mission. I, Xian Jiu, haven't had any mishaps in the past few years. I've completed all the missions perfectly, but this time, I've lost my men." As soon as these words were said, the white-masked men behind Bai Yi also sighed. They had indeed lost miserably last time. 2 law enforcers of Sun and Moon had died, and they were both in the mid-stage of Sun and Moon. Afterward, an elder had been killed, another one had been killed by Xia Longwu, and another white-masked man had been killed by the Xia family. All of this had been pushed onto Huang Jiu. It was not that he had betrayed everyone, nor was it that he had wanted to cause trouble and frame Xian Jiu. How could there be so much trouble? Bai Yi did not say much and quickly said, "This time, including me, there are 8 white-masked men, 3 sun-moon men, 5 mountain sea men, Xianjiu, and 8th elder. What they mean is that they will all listen to you. Suyu said solemnly, is it the same for law enforcers like Bai? Yes. You are at the 6th layer of the sun-moon, and I have just entered the sun-moon not long ago. 8th elder, don't you think you have overestimated me? If Bai does not listen to my orders, how can I give orders? Bai said seriously, don't worry, we're not good at anything else. You're the only one who has escaped death time and time again. Everyone trusts you. Since 8th elder has said so, everyone, including me, will definitely obey your orders. 3 sun-moon realm cultivators and 5 mountain and sea realm cultivators. Such a force wasn't considered weak. Bai was even at the 6th level of the sun-moon realm. And this time, what 8th elder meant was that everyone would listen to Suyu. Suyu was the one in charge of the Great Xia Mansion. Of course, he did not rule out the idea of monitoring Suyu. Suyu did not care about this. In the short term, he would not pretend to be someone else. As for Bai Junsheng, what did it have to do with me? Didn't he return to the Great Ming Mansion successfully? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2053. 2053 Chapter 453 Suyu in Charge 4. When he returned to Daming Manor, Zhu Tiandao would either tamper with his memories or continue to put him in jail. There was nothing to care about. Suyu did not think about this. He looked at Bai and said, have you brought what I asked for? Bai handed him a storage ring, a large amount of heaven yuan qi, and 10 drops of sun-moon mystic yellow liquid. So stingy. Suyu grumbled in his heart. I only gave 10 drops, and I only gave 500 drops a few days ago, but I didn't get back what I owed. After getting the item, Suyu asked again, what did the Myriad Clan Church say? Let's meet first and discuss it in detail when we meet. Bai quickly said, this time, the Myriad Clan Church has the sun and moon to discuss. The Myriad Clan has been rooted in the human realm for many years, and they know more about the human realm than we do. However, there is internal chaos, and now, it has formed a disorganized organization with the original cult master and the incipient devil cult master as the main powers. Together with some experts from the 10,000 races who have infiltrated, they have formed a new organization. Who is the sun and moon that is talking to us? A cult master of the 6 Wings God sect. Suyu snorted, I know this sect, the 2 sun and moon cult masters, but their strength is average. Do they look down on our heaven hunting pavilion? Not really. After all, we are only representing the human realm branch. Suyu interrupted, Bai enforcers, don't pay too much attention to their attitude. I know about the 10,000 clan sect, you scum. The kind of people who push their noses up. In their eyes, our 10,000 clan is naturally superior to them, so there's no need to be too subservient to them. Bai was speechless. Are you serious? Xianjiu's tone was very arrogant now. Forget it. 8th elder asked you to make the decision, so it's up to you. Then do you still want to meet? Yes. Suyu quickly said, Bai is enforcing the law, please inform them. Tonight, at sunset, gather at the core of Starfall Mountain. It's the place where Suyu once killed some single divine literature department experts. This, isn't it too eye-catching? It's dark under the lamp, it's fine. Suyu was still as arrogant as before. The few white-masked men didn't say anything else. Forget it, they would listen to Xianjiu. Night soon fell. The place where Suyu had killed Zhou Pingsheng was also near the Tianyi Divine Sect's treasury. A group of 8 people instantly appeared there. Bai wasn't there. According to Suyu, he should have left someone outside to keep an eye on him in case he got eaten. The Myriad Clan sect wasn't anything good either. The group of 8 people were like ghosts. White clothes and white faces stood quietly in the valley. A moment later, the sound of air being torn apart could be heard. Even before they arrived, there were already complaints. Why did we choose this place to talk? It's unlucky. This place was indeed unlucky. The Blood Fire God sect had lost a sect master who was at the 5th level of the Sun-Moon realm. Unlucky. A moment later, the 8 of them landed. Only one Sun-Moon was left, and the rest were all mountains and seas. Su Yu did not recognize the leader of the Sun and Moon. However, if Chen Yong was here, he would definitely recognize the 6-winged divine sex leader, the silver-winged divine sex leader, who had been chasing after him for a long time. At this moment, the other party did not hide his face. When he revealed his true appearance, he looked a little shady. He was a thin and weak middle-aged man. The shady man glanced at Su Yu and the others and said indifferently, "I am silver-winged. Where is Bai Yi? Bai Yi is not here to enforce the law." Su Yu also said coldly, "I have the final say in this place." "You?" Silver Wing smiled faintly and said, "I'm communicating with Bai Yi." "Who are you?" "Xian Jiu." Silver Wing's expression changed slightly. "The Xian Jiu from the Great Xia Mansion?" "Yes, is he qualified to talk to you?" As soon as Su Yu finished speaking, he glanced at these people. 1 was the Sun and Moon, 7 were mountains and seas, and 1 of them was a mountain and sea. He felt somewhat familiar, but not too familiar. Strange, forget it. He didn't know him, so there was no need to care. "Xian Jiu," Silver Wing smiled faintly. "It's enough, but, are you sure you can represent the Heaven Hunting Pavilion?" Su Yu said coldly, "I have to ask you this. The original cult master and the original devil cult master didn't come, not even a late-stage Sun and Moon. Can you represent them?" "Of course." Silver Wing smiled faintly. "They didn't come, but the mountains and seas of the various cults have come. They have passed on enough information. They will contact and communicate in a timely manner." Su Yu understood. It was rather mysterious. Silver Wing did not waste any time. Very quickly, he said, "Let's not talk nonsense. It's not safe for us to gather here. The Great Xia Manor and the Great Ming Manor don't have a good impression of our Myriad Clan sect or your Heaven Hunting Pavilion. What do you want to talk about? How do we cooperate? Tell us." "Simple. We need a bunch of running ashes and some of your intelligence systems. Our Heaven Hunting Pavilion has just reached the human realm and has taken root. Our intelligence system isn't developed. We need the Myriad Clan sect to hand over all of the Great Xia Manor's intelligence systems, spies. Impossible." Silver Wing's expression changed. "Are you joking?" Su Yu said coldly, "I'm not joking. They're just a bunch of small fries. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion lacks everything. They don't lack money. With these systems, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion doesn't have the time. If they had the time, they could quickly complete the construction. 10 drops of Sun Moon Mystic Yellow liquid to buy all of this, is that enough?" "You must be joking." Silver Wing said angrily, "We spent hundreds of years to finally lay some foundations in the Great Xia Manor. Previously, because of you, we also suffered heavy losses. You still want to take it all down? Dream on. 10 drops of the Sun Moon Mystic Yellow liquid, do you really think that the Myriad clans are so poor to this extent? You are just trash, how can you blame me? What did you say?" Silver Wing flew into a rage. Su Yu said coldly, "Cooperating with us only brings benefits, there are no disadvantages. Our Heaven Hunting Pavilion, on the surface, has 8 unrivaled experts, the number 1 expert in the world with intelligence, the Myriad Clan sect. They say that it's the Myriad Clan sect, but they're just a bunch of lackeys. Who are you working for, isn't it? Working for our Heaven Hunting Pavilion, the benefits won't be lacking for you. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2054. 2054 Chapter 453, Suyu in Charge Chiu Subscribe, 5. Bastard. Silver Wing was furious. Suyu said coldly, I'm direct. Don't be angry. Be a dog. You are, and so am I. We are all the same. I work for the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, and you work for the myriad clans. You are all dogs. However, I am a dog here. Heaven Yuan Qi and the Sun Moon Mystic Yellow Liquid are not uncommon and can be easily obtained. What about you? Silver Wing Cult Master, how much did the six-winged celestial race give you guys? Silver Wing's face was cold. If you continue to have this condescending attitude, then there's no way to negotiate. Suyu said with a faint smile, condescending. No, this is a sense of superiority, because behind me stands the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. What about you guys? If you guys die, will the six-winged celestial race have an invincible force to act for you guys? It's that simple. Today, if I kill you here, the six-winged celestial race won't even let out a fart. If you kill me here, you'll be avenged very quickly. This is the difference, this is the difference. Cult Master, do you believe me? Silver Wing sneered, you talk big. It's not small. You can try. If you want to talk, then talk. If you don't want to talk, then talk. There are definitely people from the Myriad Clan cult who want to talk. You're not missing. Silver Wing was secretly furious. Arrogant. Arrogant. And behind Suyu, the white-faced men were all acting arrogantly. Xianjiu was right. There was no need to be polite to these fellows. My Heaven Hunting Pavilion is not something you can compare to. Even though they felt that this might cause the talks to collapse, but Xianjiu's words really made them very happy. That was enough. If the talks really collapsed, then the talks would collapse. Silver Wing took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. He said in a low voice, this condition is not good. Other than the intelligence system, what else do you want? Tell me everything. We can discuss it together. Suyu said with a faint smile, that's good. I need some cannon fodder. The kind that can charge into the enemy's formation. There's no limit to their strength. In addition, I need a group of elites to cooperate with my actions. The mountains and seas and the sun and moon are the rules. Those who are too weak are unnecessary and don't have the qualifications to participate. Silver Wing frowned. What's the purpose? What's the goal? Suyu chuckled and said, to hunt down some people, some geniuses, some experts, and some invincible descendants. To seize the Southern Yuan relic. Humph, that sounds nice, but it's unrealistic. Silver Wing was annoyed. Nonsense, we want to do it too. If you're not afraid of death, you can give it a try. Do you really think that the Xia family and the human race are pushovers? You can kill them as you wish. Suyu said faintly, believe me, that's naturally not a problem. If you don't believe me, then there's nothing we can do about it. Creating chaos is something that the Heaven Hunting Pavilion is good at, and so is the Myriad Clan cult. Now that the experts of the various clans have arrived, we can only take advantage of the situation and fish in troubled waters. Only then will we have a chance to become a winner. Otherwise, how can we compete with the Myriad Clan and the human race? As for the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, everything is for profit. Once the battle starts, the information and resources of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion will be highly sought after. Even if everyone resents us, they will still pay a huge price to buy them, right? Silver Wing frowned and looked at him. Soon, someone on his side chuckled and said, Lord Xianjiu, let me ask you one more question. When you said that you would kill experts, geniuses, and invincible descendants, did you mean the human clan or the 10,000 clans? Su Yu said faintly, do as you wish. There are people who have given missions. Don't worry about that. Anyone can be killed. What if invincible is drawn out? The fatty who asked smiled and said, the great Ming king hasn't left yet. Su Yu smiled and said, he will leave soon. As he said that, he glanced at the fatty and still felt that he looked familiar. He said indifferently, which sect are you from? The fatty also smiled and said, the sacred demonic sect. Su Yu nodded slightly. Can you represent the blue sky? Sort of. Su Yu smiled. You don't believe what I said? I don't dare. I'm just a little uncertain. If Lord Xianjiu doesn't mind, you can tell me in detail how to get the great Ming king to leave. Not only him, but the white-masked men were also curious. How to get the great Ming king to leave? Could it really be done? They felt that it was a little difficult. The Daeming king had been staying in the human realm for a while, which was actually a little troublesome. As for threatening the human race at the border, the Daeming king still refused to leave. Unless a war really broke out, how else could he be forced to leave? Su Yu said faintly, it's nothing. It's a very simple matter. The Daeming manor is covering up for their shortcomings, and there aren't many direct descendants of the Zhu family. Now, the fourth eldest grandson of the Daeming manor, Zhu Hongwen, is patrolling the garrison troops on the battlefield of the heavens. Zhu Hongwen is seriously injured, and given the Daeming king's personality, he will definitely take revenge. Oh. His silver wings flapped. You. How dare you? Who dares to go to the territory of the human race and heavily injure Zhu Hongwen? Su Yu smiled and said, heavily injured. It's not like I killed him. The Daeming king was furious and went to seek revenge. Since he couldn't find him, he naturally stopped. I'm not even afraid of the Xia family's fury, why would I be afraid of the Zhu family? As for the candidate, the heaven hunting pavilion will take action. Then. Su Yu said faintly, I've told you the news. The information has been leaked. It was you who did it. I may not really do it to help you screen the traitor. Don't let Zhu Hongwen have experts by his side, that means there's a traitor on your side. Silver Wing Cult Master, remember these people. If the news is leaked, these people will be investigated. Silver Wing cursed silently. He wants you to teach me. At this moment, Bai Yi's words came from the public screen in Su Yu's mask. Xianjiu, if you really want to do this and seriously injure Zhu Hongwen, this mission isn't easy. It might not be completed. Let's try again. If it doesn't work, we'll have to use other methods. Otherwise, if we're too close, we won't be able to fish in troubled waters. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2055. 2055 Chapter 453, Su Yu in Charge 6. After that, he quickly sent a message, by the way, let's see if the 10,000 clans cult has been infiltrated by the human race. Otherwise, it would be difficult to cooperate with them in the future. These small fries have mixed elements, so we can't trust them completely. Bai Yi didn't say anything else. It seemed that Xianjiu might not resort to such a method. Silver Wing seemed to hesitate for a moment before he quickly said, if you take away the Daeming king, then we can talk about cooperation. As for the intelligence system, if the price is low, we can increase it by 10 times. We can let you use it. 10 times. 10 times, I can buy your heads. A muffled thunder-like snort was heard. With a boom, the mountains and seas became dizzy. Su Yu punched out, and Silver Wing was shocked. He waved his hand to block. With a bang, he was sent flying by Su Yu's punch. You. Su Yu stopped and said coldly, it's not too easy to kill you. The price is not expensive. 10 drops of Sun Moon Mystic Yellow Liquid is definitely enough. Are you sure that some small fries need to exchange 100 drops of Sun Moon Mystic Yellow Liquid? Silver Wing took a few steps back while the others also took a few steps back. They looked at Suyu angrily. As for Suyu, he smiled faintly and said, "Don't be angry. It was just a joke. You guys are so weak. You're only a little useful now. Normally, such a weak Sun Moon isn't worthy of cooperating with us." Bastard! Silver Wing was furious. However, the sharp pain in his arm made him realize that he was absolutely not Xianzhou's match. Damn it, he was so strong. How strong was this guy? As for Suyu, he snorted in his heart. If it wasn't for the wrong situation, he would have killed him with one punch. He hated this sect the most. This guy was also the main force that was chasing after Chen Yong. At this moment, Bai Yi appeared in an instant. He smiled and said, "How can Xianzhou be unreasonable?" Silver Wing Cult Master, I'm sorry. Xianzhou has a bad temper. I apologize on his behalf. The Myriad Clan Cult's intelligence system only requires the Great Xia Mansion to provide us with 50 drops of Sun Moon Mystic Yellow Liquid. This price is definitely not low. Silver Wing cursed silently. One of you is playing the good cop, and the other is playing the good cop. Do you really think I don't understand? However, at this moment, it was not the time to argue with them. Silver Wing snorted coldly and said, "I want to go back and ask the others for their opinions. I'll give you an accurate answer in 3 days. 1 day. I don't have that much time to waste with you." Suyu said bluntly, "If you can't accomplish anything, you'll ruin more than enough. It's just a small matter, but you're dragging your feet. No wonder you can achieve great things. It's been hundreds of years, and you're still a rat crossing the street." The group of people from the myriad races were all extremely angry. This Xianzhou's mouth was really stinky, and he was also poisonous. The group of people did not waste any more words and quickly disappeared. Once they left, Bai Yi also said with some hesitation, "Is it okay to be so forceful?" "No problem. A group of people who are willing to forsake their race, family, and teachers for the sake of benefits. Don't tell me Bai Yi enforcers feel that they are really angry." Suyu smiled faintly and said, "Angry? It's nothing more than not giving enough money. Don't worry, these guys will agree." Myriad Clan Cult. Suyu silently thought to himself. This time, it would be best if he could get them all in one fell swoop. Very good. Little Furball has remembered your Silver Wing's aura. This Furball dog has a sharper nose than a real dog. You won't be able to hide from it. Wherever you are, I will be able to find you very quickly. Suyu said faintly, "If it really doesn't work, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion will send some more people. I'll wipe them out. If the upper echelons die, the people below will naturally be ours. They'll all be obedient." The white-faced people were speechless. Are you serious? What kind of joke is this? F***CK. You want to wipe out the Myriad Clan sect? The human race hasn't wiped them out in hundreds of years. Are you sure the Heaven Hunting Pavilion can do it? Suyu did not say much. If they could really find their nest and destroy the religion of 10,000 races, it would be considered a big move. It was not something that could not be done. P.S. Push a book. Qi family's 7th brother's amazing son-in-law. With P.Y., he ate several meals with 7th brother. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2056. 2056 Chapter 454 I'm a professional forger 1. After having a short contact with the Myriad Clan cult, Suyu was not in a hurry. Very soon, he said to the others, "All of you are on standby at all times. From now on, we will continue to accept missions. I want to go to Nanyuan to take a look. Now. Bai Yi was getting more and more confused about Xianjiu. There were a lot of experts in Nanyuan now, and it was very dangerous. What should he go and see now? Could he enter the city? I'll go and see if the relics are real or fake. If nothing unexpected happens, many people will come to us soon to buy information about the relics. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion is the guarantee of credibility and an intelligence organization. We have to determine whether they are real or fake. Be careful that the relics are fake and that they will be cheated. Suyu said solemnly, it is very likely that the Xia family will create a fake relic to divert the attention of all the clans and prepare for Xia Long's martial arts attainment. We have to be on guard. Now, give this information to the Heaven Hunting list holders for free. Tell them to wait for the Heaven Hunting Pavilion to confirm the authenticity of the relic. Bai Yi was slightly shocked when he heard this. What a good Xianjiu. The others were still going crazy over the relic, but Xianjiu was no longer affected by these external objects. His judgment had actually been made by the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's higher-ups. The Southern Origin relic happened to open at this moment, so the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's higher-ups were also somewhat suspicious. Xianjiu had actually thought of it and even wanted to investigate it personally. This was already very impressive. Bai Yi no longer looked down on Xianjiu. Previously, Xianjiu's arrogance and recklessness towards the myriad clan sect had left him somewhat helpless. However, at this moment, these short words had instantly made him look at him in a new light. It was true. At this moment, almost everyone believed that the Southern Origin ruins existed. There was too much evidence to prove all of this. Suyu in the ancient city, the other relics of the human realm, the weak heaven Yuan Qi that Xianjiu mentioned, and the great Xia Emperor who had been dormant here for many years chose to stay here. All kinds of evidence showed that the probability of there being relics here was very high. And now, Xianjiu said that it might be a trap set by the Xia family. Is this news really going to be made public? Suyu said in a deep voice, of course, although it's just a guess, I have to tell everyone so that they will be on guard against the Xia family. The Xia family is not a good person. They are not good people either. Letting everyone gather in the southern Yuan area is the biggest problem in my opinion. With the Xia family's tyranny, I still have some doubts that they will give in so easily. Bai Yi nodded again and agreed deeply, all right, then I'll make arrangements right away and inform the clients. Wait for my Heaven Hunting Pavilion to confirm the authenticity of the relic. Xianjiu, if you can confirm the authenticity and find a certain amount of evidence, just this information alone is priceless. I will. Suyu smiled and said, as the residents of the ancient city, the aura of death is dense. I will soon find out the source of the Heaven Yuan Qi. No one is more likely to discover the Heaven Yuan Qi than us. Then, when you enter the city, you have to be careful. Bai Yi was a little worried. There are many suns and moons in the city right now. You might not be able to hide it from them. It doesn't matter. I can hide in the Great Xia Mansion for a few days, so it's not a problem for me to stay here. I have a method of invisibility. Ordinary suns and moons won't be able to find me at all. Then you have to be careful. Bai Yi reminded him again. At this time, he felt that Xianjiu was a real talent. He was bold, meticulous, and powerful. He had his own judgment and was not affected by external factors. In any case, Bai Yi had a good impression of him at this moment. When he came here previously, when the eighth elder asked him to listen to him, Bai Yi was still a little displeased. However, at this moment, he felt that Xianjiu was truly reliable. As for Suyu, the good impression he gained quickly disappeared. As for raising this doubt, there were actually some people who still had some doubts. This doubt was raised by him and confirmed by him. He had to put on a good show. If he did not discover any flaws, wouldn't it appear that the Heaven Hunting Pavilion was incompetent? He was the leader of the heaven hunting pavilion stationed in the Great Xia Mansion. Very soon, all the experts who held the heaven hunting talent list received a notification. It was a free friendly notification from the heaven hunting pavilion. It was best to leave the southern Yuan kingdom temporarily. The matter of the remains might not be true. The heaven hunting pavilion had some doubts and told Su Yu's speculation. It was very likely that they were trying to divert Xia Long's attention from attaining Dao. They were waiting for the heaven hunting pavilion to confirm whether it was true or not. Once the news was out, the experts holding the rankings began to contact the forces behind them. It didn't take long for the news to spread. Whether the ruins were true or not was uncertain. It could be a trap. They were waiting for the heaven hunting pavilion, the #1 intelligence organization in the world, to confirm whether it was true or not. Everyone still had some trust in the heaven hunting pavilion's intelligence. Once these words were said, the attitudes of the experts in southern Yuan City changed. In southern Yuan City. At this moment, experts from all directions had gathered. Many of Yuan Qingdong's friends had also arrived. In the courtyard of the southern Yuan family, these people had gathered. There were men and women, and one of them was a woman with a full figure. At this moment, however, she frowned and said, "Why isn't Yuan Qingdong here yet? Also, do you think the heaven hunting pavilion's speculations are true? Zhang Ying, why are you in such a hurry?" In the hall, there was a young man, with a smile on his face. He said, "Yuan Qingdong is injured. He won't be here so soon. Today, the capital city of the Great Xia Mansion has just opened. He is seriously injured. He will probably have to wait for a while before he can come here." As for the information about the heaven hunting pavilion, the speculation is not unreasonable. The man said softly, "Xia Longwu is about to attain the Tao, and the Great Xia Mansion is involved in the matter of Nan Yuan. There is talk of a relic." Zhang Ying retorted, "The relic was not mentioned by the Xia family, but by Su Yu. Everyone has speculated that the Xia family is not involved in this, right? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories." Chapter 2057. 2057 Chapter 454 I'm a professional forger too. She didn't really believe in the heaven hunting pavilion. Instead, she felt that the heaven hunting pavilion might have deliberately said that, wanting everyone to leave so that the heaven hunting pavilion could seize this relic on its own. When these words were said, it wasn't without reason. Someone laughed and said, "It's also possible. Of course, we won't leave so easily either. It doesn't matter if the Xia family diverted their attention or not. We're very safe here. No matter what the Xia family does, they won't attack us. There's no need to worry." The others nodded. "That's right, we're all Invincible descendants. The Xia family still needs Invincible's help. They won't attack us. What's the point of caring so much? Whether it's true or not, we'll know when the time comes." Very quickly, they stopped talking about this and started talking about it. Someone laughed and said, "I heard that the geniuses in the small world are about to return. I wonder how their cultivation is going. I went to take a look a few days ago. There are already people who have entered the mountains and seas. I heard that a few families have even nurtured the sun and moon. Is that true or false?" The sun and moon were very difficult to cultivate. On the side of the Great Xia Manor, only Hong Tan had entered the sun and moon realm. The sun and moon of the many divine languages were already very powerful. If he had entered the sun and moon realm, then he would have surpassed the 5th generation. "There are." Someone said with a smile, "Zhang Ying, your family has them, right?" Zhang Ying said unhappily, "How would I know?" Everyone laughed and did not care about this. The 8 great families of the Search realm, Zhou, Yuan, Zhang, Zheng. The Zhang clan wasn't invincible in the opening of a mansion, but it was an existence that had become invincible shortly after the opening of a mansion. The other leaders of the Search Realm had to take care of both sides. The Zhang clan didn't open a mansion, so the core of the Search Realm was the Search Realm. It was the Search Realm that made the Zhang clan stronger and more powerful. Those who didn't open a mansion were invincible. On the contrary, they had more energy and resources to open up a small world and nurture more experts. They were not like the clans that had a huge budget. If the resources were distributed, no matter how many resources there were, it would be a drop in the bucket. This heaven hunting pavilion is really useful. Someone laughed. They have only just entered the human realm. Otherwise, there would be very little news that could be hidden from them. Since they are going to investigate the ruins, let's wait and see. Everyone nodded. They still trusted the heaven hunting pavilion's intelligence ability. In the city, the experts were all discussing. At the same time, the dragon martial guards of the Great Xia Mansion who were stationed in the city also gathered together. One of the Sun and Moon commanders asked curiously, "Old He, you are the first Sun and Moon to be stationed in the Southern Yuan dynasty. Do you think the heaven hunting pavilion's information is reliable? Was the Xia family really doing this on purpose? If that was the case, then the grievances they had suffered could be explained. This was because the Xia family was doing this on purpose." That Old He, a Sun-Moon expert, frowned. After a long while, he said, "The news didn't come from our side. It was because of Suyu." Everyone connected the dots. When Suyu said that the ruins were at Mount Xinglua, no one suspected it. Later, Mount Xinglua proved to be fake, so everyone came to the Southern Yuan, the Xia family. The Great Xia residents didn't do anything. He felt that it didn't seem like the Xia family's handiwork, and the Xia family didn't really get involved. Very soon. Old He said again, "Of course, if it really was the manor head and Marquis handiwork, then it's understandable. Why did Marquis and the others not chase away those outsiders? I wish it was the Marquis handiwork, but I'm afraid that it would be exposed by those bastards from the heaven hunting pavilion, causing the manor head to fail in his Dao verification. How complicated." He couldn't help but curse once more. Those bastards from the heaven hunting pavilion are even more hateful than the myriad clan cult. If they were exposed, then if it really was the Xia family's plan, then these people would be very detestable. If it wasn't for the Xia family's plan, then everyone would still be somewhat depressed. It turned out that it really had nothing to do with the Xia family. Now that the ruins were being watched by so many people, it didn't seem to be in line with the Xia family's wishes. Wouldn't the Xia family suffer a great loss if the ruins were taken away? Complicated. Everyone hated the heaven hunting pavilion even more. At the same time, they had no choice but to obtain information from the heaven hunting pavilion to confirm the authenticity of the ruins. The heaven hunting pavilion might say that it was fake, but everyone might not believe it. They still had to investigate it. If the heaven hunting pavilion confirmed that it was real, then the ruins would definitely be real. As for the heaven hunting pavilion and the Xia family acting, what kind of joke was that? Did your family use so many suns and moons to act? How many suns and moons had the heaven hunting pavilion died? Of course, the Xia family also lost a direct descendant. Xia Sini was killed. And the general was killed. The Xia family even sealed the city for the first time in hundreds of years for a few days. They lost all face. Who was acting? And at this moment, a sun and moon expert. He quickly said, "Lord Marquis, come quickly and monitor the entire city. The heaven hunting pavilion's people might come to confirm the news of the ruins. It might be that Xianjiu. If they see Xianjiu this time, they will definitely tear him into pieces." "Yes, Lord Marquis." A group of people quickly walked out and their auras exploded. A sun-moon commander shouted, "The heaven hunting pavilion's beasts might sneak into this place. Everyone in the city had better release their auras and reveal their identities. Otherwise, don't blame us for being merciless if we accidentally injure you. If anyone finds the beast from the heaven hunting pavilion, Quickly report it to the Xia family and reward them handsomely. Kill one person and you will receive a reward. Kill Xianjiu and the great Xia family will receive 1,000,000 merit points. The entire city instantly started to move. Auras appeared one after another. It was best to be careful not to be accidentally killed by the Xia family. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion said that they were here to confirm the authenticity of the ruins. Perhaps they had really snuck into the city. The small city was not big. If there were experts hiding, it would still be easy for them to be discovered. At this moment, a group of white-masked men, led by Bai Yi, were monitoring a place dozens of miles away from the southern elements. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2058. 2058 Chapter 454 I'm a Professional Forger 3. Sensing the fluctuation in Nanyuan City, a white-faced man said with a smile, Xianjiu has provoked the Xia family badly this time. When he heard that we were going to investigate, the Xia family didn't care and targeted us specifically. That guy Xianjiu is very bold. Bai Yi enforces the law. Does the Heaven Hunting Pavilion have any sources of information about the city? Bai Yi nodded slightly but did not say much. Yes, of course they did. It was true that the 4 divisions of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion had just moved in, but the East and West pavilions had already arranged for manpower. Nanyuan had long been valued, so of course, they had also arranged for manpower to go there. Outsiders were guessing and waiting to determine whether Xianjiu would go to Nanyuan to investigate the situation. As for Su Yu, naturally, he would not go. He was too bored. Whether it was real or fake, how could he not count? What was he going to do? At this moment, Su Yu was contacting Xia Huyo. Have you finished the ruins that your family created? What's the situation? I've created a mystic realm, and there's some Heaven Yuan Qi inside. I'm preparing to slowly leak it out, but it's only a mystic realm after all. I'm still a little afraid that others will see through it. Xia Huyo was still a little worried. You have many ideas. What do you think would be more realistic? The sun and moon might not be able to see through it, but once invincible comes, it's very likely to be seen through. Su Yu ridiculed, your house has been set up for so many years. Is there such a big loophole? Nonsense. I wasn't planning to use the ruins to attract people. I was just going with the flow. How could I have made so many preparations? Ruins, ancient ruins. If ordinary people didn't understand this thing, how could those invincible people not understand it? Only now did Invincible come to Nanyuan to carefully investigate. Otherwise, they would have discovered the problem long ago. Su Yu thought for a moment and said, there are no real ruins. I mean, the ruins that your grandfather and the others attained Dao back then, could they have all been destroyed? Not really. Xia Huyo explained, but for real relics, some things have been exhausted. Moreover, the relics cannot be moved and are fixed in a certain space. Then this relic has a big loophole. What did your second grandfather say? He said that he would not let Invincible come first. When Invincible comes, it is the time to activate it, so it is not too important whether it is true or not. Nonsense. Su Yu was deeply ashamed of their lack of rigor. What if Invincible really sneaked in? Then what should he do? What if it's not that betraying Invincible? Seriously. Su Yu also frowned. This was really a little troublesome. The relic was fake. There was no other way. Could it be that they could get the real relic? Su Yu fell into deep thought. Xia Huyo quickly said, didn't you lie to a lot of people in the heavenly battlefield? Yes, but the situation was different. That time, Invincible didn't come. It was a headache. Xia Huyo quickly said, if it doesn't work, then let's do it this way. Actually, that mystic realm is quite strong. this time, the Xia family also spent a lot of money. That mystic realm space is very big. The Xia family also built some ancient buildings inside. The style and decorations are similar to the relics. Then what's the difference? It can't withstand invincibility. Xia Huyo explained, the mystic realm space is, after all, outlined by divine runes. In fact, the space is still very weak. You know, in the Civilization Academy, bringing some invincibility items in can cause space turbulence. Once this ruins comes and sees it, the chances of guessing that it doesn't meet the standards of the invincibility ruins are very high. There's no need to doubt that it's fake, but it might just be a small ruin. Suyu understood. If it was fake, the Xia family could do it too. It was just that the space wasn't strong enough. One look was enough to tell that it wasn't suitable for invincible ruins to verify the Tao. How could such a ruin be a powerful invincible ruin or even a half-emperor ruin? Xia Huyo added, in addition, we also hope that this ruin can be linked to the multi-divine literature department. This way, the multi-divine literature department can enter, especially Principal Hong Tan. He's currently cultivating in seclusion. We hope that he can go over there and instantly enter the second or even third level of the Sun-Moon profound yellow liquid. It'll make people feel that it's all thanks to this ruin. From there, this ruin will be known and valued by that person. Of course, the advancement costs Su Yu's money. 500 drops of Sun-Moon mystic yellow liquid, are you afraid? Even the great Xia mansion did not have this amount of accumulation. Su Yu finally understood what they meant. He was a little speechless as he said, it's possible to advance, and we can also think of a way to work together. However, can you guarantee that there won't be any invincible infiltrating the vicinity to investigate the ruins? No. Then isn't that the end of it? Xia Huyo was rather open-minded as he said, planning depends on man and success depends on the heavens. If we really fail and our luck isn't good, then forget it. We won't help our Xia family tomorrow. You. Su Yu was speechless. Damn it, you people really aren't responsible enough. You can't even fake it. If Invincible really came, and he wasn't the one who betrayed them, then more than half of this line would be wasted. This wouldn't do. Thinking of this, Su Yu suddenly said, the space isn't stable enough. Is the space of the human realm stable enough? Of course, the human realm is a major realm after all. It's enough to maintain invincible Tao. Of course, it's possible. Then cut the space of the human realm and create fake relics. It won't do. If the space of the human realm is cut, it will cause the space to shatter and collapse. Everyone will find out. Things came to a standstill. Su Yu had actually thought that he had a research room at Daming Manor. In the research room, Hu Xiansheng had left behind a space-cutting machine that could cut space. However, it seemed that the ruins were very large. If they cut too much, it would easily cause the space to collapse and be discovered by others. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2059. 2059 Chapter 454 I'm a professional forger 4. The Xia family is really unreliable. The matter has already been initiated. Tell me that there's a problem that hasn't been resolved yet. F***CK. This group of unreliable people actually relied on luck. Su Yu was also convinced. Is there any treasure in the ruins? There is. There's quite a lot of heaven essence chi. F***CKU. Su Yu cursed and quickly said, you guys are really irresponsible. At least come to the Heaven Yuan fruit tree, the Sun-Moon profound yellow pond, and some ancient corpses. There are very few ancient corpses in the ruins. Don't worry about that. Su Yu was too lazy to say anything and made a judgment. He gritted his teeth and said, it's fine. I'll provide the good stuff. I still have a lot of sun-moon profound yellow liquid to create a fake sun-moon profound yellow pond and heaven yuan fruit tree. You guys create a fake one, and I'll hang fruits on it. Xia Huyo hesitated for a moment and said, that. Don't you know what the relic looks like? Nonsense, how would I know? The relic might not necessarily have a heaven origin fruit tree. Also, Su Yu, is your relic really not in the southern yuan? It's your grandpa. Su Yu rolled his eyes. He was convinced. Alright, since everyone was so sure that there was a relic in the southern yuan, it had too much to do with Su Yu. It was because he was born in Nan Yuan that everyone believed him. Thinking of this, Su Yu rubbed his chin and said, in addition, I still need to create ancient books and ancient cultivation methods. What I pass down are all cultivation methods. There's no reason why I don't have a cultivation method. It would be best if it's an incomparably powerful cultivation method. Su Yu and the Xia family were able to create all these things. The Xia family didn't really care about whether it was real or fake. They thought that it would be enough to just roughly create one. However, Su Yu felt that they still needed to be more reliable, more perfect, and more perfect. If you faked it, it would be too fake. To Su Yu, the risk was too great. Taking risks wasn't Su Yu's style. He had to be more prudent. He had to prevent the invincible truth from sneaking in and investigating. If that happened, many things would go wrong. Cut the crap, fatty. Your Xia family will immediately create some fake heaven origin fruit trees. I will create the heaven origin fruit. Heaven origin fruit, sun moon mystic yellow lake. Su Yu could create all of these. He could also create cultivation techniques and such. The great Xia clan might have some real ancient books that they were willing to spend a lot of money on, so they took them out as well. This was the only way to meet their expectations. Now, the only thing that was lacking was that the space was not sturdy enough. With a glance, Invincible knew that it was not enough to maintain Invincible Dao. Right, the ancient ruins have appeared. Did anything big happen? Yes, 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 no. When some spaces are opened, there might be some big fluctuations. When others are opened, the movements are very small. Then this one is the kind that makes some movements. It's best if we can map out some of the things inside. That way, everyone will believe that this is real. There will be more people and more experts. You are done. My Xia family really doesn't have anything good left. Stingy. Su Yu cursed in his heart. If I come, I'll come. If I win, it'll still be mine. If I lose, everything will be gone. It's all the same. The only problem now was the problem of spatial stability. Who should he look for to solve this problem? Thinking of this, Su Yu quickly sent a voice transmission to Zhu Tiandao. This problem might be solved by the Daming Manor. The technology of the Daming Manor was very advanced. They had faked it before. The last time, they had been preparing to break through and fake it for him. The Great Xia Manor placed too much emphasis on killing, so they didn't know much about these things. Daming Manor. Zhu Tiandao took a glance and had a strange look in his eyes. I thought they were using real relics, but it turned out to be fake. Didn't Su Yu bring out his own relics? Alright, he took it seriously. The spatial stability isn't enough. The Xia family didn't communicate with him, so Zhu Tiandao didn't mind. If it wasn't for Su Yu, the Xia family wouldn't have told him anything. Perhaps they would have suspected that the Darming King was a traitor. This possibility was still very high. Now, Su Yu trusted him and only told him some things. Zhu Tiandao was somewhat gratified. However, it would be great if the spatial stability could be raised to the point of being able to maintain the invincible Dao. It would be very difficult. It was not that easy to confuse the real with the fake. After thinking for a while, very soon, Zhu Tiandao replied, it is not impossible to increase the stability of space. There will be a huge price to pay. I will give you a few plans. First, fuse a large amount of heaven and earth mystic light into it. This thing has the effect of stabilizing and strengthening one's physical body. Naturally, heaven and earth will nurture it and also strengthen space. Second, shatter a large amount of divine runes. If the divine runes are shattered, it will also have the effect of stabilizing the space. Third, one or more heavenly weapons are needed to fuse into it. This is also possible. Fourth, the most stable thing is usually the carrying object. This thing is extremely hard to find. If you fuse it into the space, it can also stabilize the space. This thing can withstand the erosion of the river of time. Do you know what a carrying object is? Fifth, Heaven Yuan Qi. Countless amounts of Heaven Yuan Qi. Heaven Yuan Qi also has the effect of stabilizing space. Sixth, Array Formation, a powerful array formation. Zhu Tiandao explained many plans in a row. Su Yu moved slightly and said, "Man ahead, a carrier can strengthen space." Nonsense. That thing can even bear invincible power. Of course, it can carry a small space. It's much stronger than divine runes. 3 generations of one body can only be carried by a supreme treasure. Don't you understand this principle? Zhu Tiandao said, then, he said, however, this thing is too rare. There are only so many supreme treasures in the world, and most of them have been taken away by those invincible and quasi-invincible at the peak of the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. I don't think the Great Xia Mansion has them. If they do, they have to provide them to Xiaolongwu. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2060. 2060 Chapter 454 I'm a professional forger 5. Don't ask me. Daming Prefecture doesn't have it either. There are people in Daming Prefecture who want it, but they can't get it. He was talking about Niu Baidao, but old Niu was still missing one item. Old Niu only had one item. He had fused with a lifetime body, but he was still missing a lifetime body. This required a powerful object to carry it. This time, old Niu didn't come back. He was looking for treasures in the heavenly battlefield. As for the human realm, it was very difficult to find it now. After all, the human realm had achieved too much invincibility hundreds of years ago. There are usually carriers in the ruins. This is also one of the reasons why the ruins are so powerful. A ruin without a carrier wouldn't be an invincible ruin. Su Yu understood. He felt a little pained. I only have 2 items. Do I have to throw them in as well? Speaking of which, why did I have to spend so much on the Xia family's plan? If something unexpected happened and the fake remains were snatched away, wouldn't I suffer a great loss? Su Yu was willing to spend a great deal of money to create a fake. If it was his own plan, he would have been willing to spend a great deal of money to create it. However, the crux of the matter was that this wasn't his own plan. Helpless, Su Yu sent another message. Man ahead, is it fine to just throw the object directly in? Of course not. It's still very difficult to enhance the space in an instant. If you're willing to do so, you can think of a way to shatter one object and fuse it with the mystical realm's divine text. If you have a lot of money, you can get 2 more objects. That way, it'll be incomparably realistic. Zhu Tiandao joked, if you have money, you can try it. 2 objects are for people to verify their Tao. 1 object in the enhanced space is enough. 3 objects are enough. Even Invincible wouldn't doubt it if he saw it. Only a fool would joke about 3 objects. If the human race gets their hands on this thing, they might really be able to obtain an invincible one. Many 9th level Sun-Moon cultivators currently lack this object to verify their Tao. Was that so? Su Yu understood. He understood. If he could hide it from Invincible, he would have to spend a lot of money. In other words, there were 3 items that could be used. No one would doubt it. One was broken to increase the spatial strength, and the other 2 were hidden in the ruins as a benefit for the inheritor. In addition to the other supporting items, the fake ruins could actually be used for real. Heaven Yuan Qi, used to cast the body. The sun-moon mysterious yellow liquid was used to strengthen the acupuncture points. The carrier was used to prove that one was invincible. Yes, it was best to add a treasure of Ling Yun's 9 transformations. In this way, if a person could really obtain the ruins, coupled with a powerful cultivation technique and a powerful talent, he might really be invincible in the Tao. Would this really be considered an invincible ruins? The carrier, I only have 2. Su Yu thought in his heart. One was the dragon pearl, and the other was the heavenly gold black iron. Very quickly, he thought of the dragon horn treasure box. Could there be one inside? If there was, then there would be 3. Since Sect Master Tianyi placed so much importance on it, perhaps he was preparing it for him to attain Tao. Thinking of this, Su Yu quickly flew towards the great Xia manor. He had to find the Xia family, forget it, he had to find the Wan Tianxing and find him to forge. The Xia family was not professional at all. Su Yu felt that it was too dangerous to cooperate with them. A bunch of misers. They did not have the capital to forge a fake, so who could they lie to? Only when one was willing to invest would one be able to produce something. If the forgery was successful, then the losses would be taken back. In fact, the losses would not be huge, and it was just for everyone to see. If the losses could not be taken back, then the losses would be disastrous. Su Yu was prepared to invest everything he earned in the heavenly battlefield this time. If he really succeeded, it might be a huge profit. If he killed an invincible, would the invincible corpse be worth anything? Did the invincible soldier have a heavenly soldier? That traitor had quite a lot of sun-moon divine runes, right? Fortune comes from danger. Su Yu thought in his heart. In fact, he was prepared to lose everything. He just hoped that the plan would be more perfect. The Xia family might really not be able to take out these things. In desperation, they chose to create an unreal relic. It was too fake. But this time, they were gambling with their lives. It was not playing house. There were many people who Su Yu could not let go of. Be it Hong Tan or Bai Feng, Su Yu did not wish for a small loophole to cause trouble for everyone. Money in these things, once they were gone, he could just go and rob them again. Heart Cultivation Pavilion. When Su Yu took out the large amount of sun-moon profound yellow liquid, the 2 carriers, over 1,000 portions of heaven Yuan Qi, and some precious treasures like the demonic god fruit, Wan Tianxing's eyes turned red. Su Yu, why don't we stop forging? These things are enough for a normal person to cultivate to invincibility. There's no need to look for additional resources. Why don't we forget about it? Wan Tianxing was truly speechless. You are too generous, too generous, too generous. Are you really not afraid of me robbing you by putting these things here? I really want to rob you. To be honest, these things are enough for a normal genius to cultivate all the way to invincibility. The prerequisite is that you have the talent and qualifications. Otherwise, no matter how many treasures you have, it will be useless. This kid Su Yu is really rich. I know the rest, but I really don't know about the 2 carrying objects. These things are hard to come by outside. Even one of them is hard to come by. He made a judgment. It was probably the 3 invincible incarnations that were destroyed last time, and Su Yu went to pick them up. This kid was really bold. Very quickly, Su Yu took out another box, there might be another one inside. Sect Master Tianyi values it very much, so I think it's most likely the object. The dragon pearl is too obvious. It shattered the dragon pearl and fused into the space. If there's one inside, then the other 2 objects will be inherited treasures. In this way, no one will suspect anything. The 10,000 heavenly saints secretly ridiculed, suspect. I suspect you're a fool. No one will suspect anything. The Great Xia Manor has only been established for a short period of time, and the consumption is huge. Yi Batian and myself have actually used some carriers, causing the Great Xia Manor to be unable to make ends meet. How could they have the money to create such a fake? Even if you say it out loud, the 10,000 clans and the invincible humans won't believe it. This is a fake relic created by the Xia family. If the Xia family had the capital, they would have nurtured another invincible state long ago. Even if it did not work, it would still be quasi-invincible. Not to mention the Great Xia Mansion, there was not a single mansion in the entire human realm that could create such a fake relic. Unless they joined forces. The key was, if they joined forces, how would they know that they would not join forces with that betraying invincible force? You. Sai, you're so professional. Suyu nodded and said proudly, I'm a professional forger. Manor head, using a fake to confuse the real is the real deal. Wan Tiansheng was helpless. If this thing had been around for a few hundred years, it would have been a real invincible relic. Now, it was just a little new. How extravagant. Speaking of which, this kid was really reliable. Wan Tiansheng actually knew that there was a loophole in this, but... Sorry, he didn't have the money to create a luxurious fake relic. His idea was to activate it at the same time as Invincible arrived. Now, it seemed like he could wait. It was best if an invincible person really came and spread the news. The relic was real. And Su Yu, very soon, he said, not only that, I also plan to use the Divine Literature Battle Technique Steel to release the fluctuations of multi-divine literature battle techniques, so that the relic and the multi-divine literature system will be linked together. This way, it will be easier for that betraying invincible person to appear. Because if he doesn't appear, this relic will be taken away by the multi-divine literature system, and it might give birth to an invincible person. The 10,000 races will also have to take it very seriously. 10,000 heavenly saints was silent. Kid, do you know that if you do this, perhaps, you will really attract many invincible races? I'm scared. I'm afraid I won't be able to hold on for much longer. 10,000 heavenly saints was helpless. I wanted to draw out the invincible race who had betrayed me, and I also wanted to kill one more. But you, kid, I feel like you're setting me up, the kind that won't stop until I'm dead. You still want to connect with the multi-divine literature department. Aren't you afraid that the myriad races will go crazy and have 7 or 8 invincible realms? Suyu seemed to know what he was thinking. He gritted his teeth and said, when the time comes, I'll have to trouble you to send me to the entrance of the heavenly battlefield. Wan Tianqing's heart moved slightly. He looked at him again and didn't say anything else. He roughly knew what he was thinking. He sighed. This kid, was he still prepared to participate in the invincible level? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2061. 2061 Chapter 455 Nanyuan Historical Remains 1. Suyu didn't care so much. At this point, everyone was betting their lives and he could just throw in some money. Wan Tiansheng also started to prepare to build a new space and create a new historical remains. Suyu was also shocked when he saw how easily he tore apart space and built it in the Heart Cultivation Pavilion. How strong was he? Principal, have you been to a real historical remains? Suyu was busy absorbing the heaven and earth mystic light while giving out missions to others. He had been quite busy recently, and the Myriad Clan sect was also constantly asking him questions, so he couldn't be bothered to answer. I've been there. Wan Tiansheng said indifferently, it's nothing interesting. It's just some junk. Invincible ruins? Sort of. Then why haven't you attained Tao? When I was young, my dreams were too big. Wan Tiansheng said lightly, I wasn't interested in achieving Tao in the relic either. Yi Batian and I split the invincible relic and each of us got some benefits. Carrier. Yes, we did. Each of us got one. Suyu nodded and said, what's the difference between attaining Tao in the human realm, the small realm, and the heavenly battlefield? The difference in strength, the difference in survivability. Wan Tianxing smiled and said, the small realm is the weakest. Needless to say, the heavenly battlefield is the strongest, and the human realm is second. In addition, the future is different. The heavenly battlefield is likely to reach the half-emperor realm. The half-emperors of the demon race and the immortal race all reached the Tao in the heavenly battlefield. That's not right. Didn't the heavenly battlefield not open before? They did. That was only about 1,000 years ago. Did they only reach the Tao 1,000 years ago? No. By chance, these guys entered the Grand Heavens battlefield a long time ago. Suyu understood and asked again, is there a division of minor realms for invincibility? Yes. 10,000 heavenly saints said with a faint smile, it's not considered a minor realm. At the level of invincibility, or in other words, eternity, it mainly depends on the control of time, the vastness of the sea of will, and the toughness of the body. Generally speaking, there is no special division of realms, but there is a difference in strength. How are they divided? It's useless for you to know this. At least I want to know. I think I'm not far from being invincible. What a big tone. The 10,000 heavenly saints thought for a moment. He smiled and said, then let's talk about it briefly. If we really want to distinguish, there are several levels of being invincible. The first level is the level of the half-emperor realm experts. The second level is the level of the great Qin king. The third level is the level of the great Xia king and the others. The fourth level is the level of demon king Lad and the others. The fifth level is the level of the ordinary heaven Tao attainment level. The sixth level is the level of the small world Tao attainment level. Suyu was speechless. There's such a big difference in strength? It's not too big. Wan Tianxing explained, actually, it depends on his performance and his methods. I said that the great Qin king was in the second stage, but he might not necessarily be no match for those half-emperors. The so-called half-emperors only meant that he was recognized by the public and became a leader. The human race is a bit special because the time when he attained the Tao was too close and there was always war. After the great Qin king took charge of the East Rift Valley, he didn't have the time or energy to subdue the human race. Everyone attained the Tao at about the same time, so he didn't become the half-emperor of the human race. Do you understand? Suyu sighed. If the great Qin king really becomes the half-emperor, the human race won't be like this anymore. It's not as serious as you think. Wan Tianxing said indifferently, it's just that there are some drawbacks now, so we need to set things right. Is the prefect willing to be the one to set things right? Wan Tianxing smiled. I don't have that idea. I just caught up. Besides, forget it, you don't understand. If I'm still alive after a while, remember to keep a distance from me. Suyu pondered for a moment and said, what the manor head means is, after some time, if the plan succeeds, the manor head might also be ostracized. Ha! Wan Tianxing laughed and ignored him. He changed the topic and said, I'll help you open your box. I'll do it myself. Suyu didn't ask any more questions. He felt that Wan Tianxing's goal might not be as simple as killing the traitor Invincible. Of course, there were some things that he didn't want to say. This time, the great Xia mansion had gathered so many people, and there were more than just 2 of them. There were too many of them. What was the result of these people? One had to know that there were many descendants of Invincible. Suyu did not dare to think too deeply about it. He was afraid of trouble. At Wan Tianxing's level, there was no need for Suyu to say anything. The 2 of them, one started to build new ruins, the other started to cultivate silently, and opened the treasure box at the same time. From time to time, the 10,000 heavenly sage would also say a few words. Here, use some death chi to corrode it. Here, get some heaven yuan chi. There's no soil in the ruins. They're all made of some special ancient stones. After you're done, use the river of time to wash it. If you used the river of time to wash the god corpse a few times, no one would be able to tell if it's real or fake. It seemed that Old Juan was also a forger, but he was limited by his pockets. No money. A clever woman couldn't cook without rice. Without money, no matter how much he forged, the treasures were all empty. Now that Suyu had provided the treasures and Old Juan had come to forge again, Suyu had gained a lot of experience. These two were forging. And outside, it was even more chaotic now. The geniuses were starting to enter the realm. There were also some Tao protectors, or rather, the main forces fighting for the ruins, entering the realm one after another. The heavens residence. Tens of millions of soldiers were seething with killing intent, eyeing the ruins covetously. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2062. 2062 Chapter 455 Southern Origin Remains 2. And in the passageway, geniuses walked out one after another. Some of them were smiling, while others were curious. Human realm. This was the human realm. Someone experimented and fiddled with it before saying with a smile, the human realm really doesn't have any suppressive power. I feel that it's even more open than the heavenly battlefield. The space is also very stable. It's just that there's too little yuan chi. That's right, there's too little yuan chi. Human realm, interesting. According to ancient legends, this place might be the starting point of the myriad worlds in the heavens, a sacred land to worship. Someone said something, and someone retorted, who said that the human realm is a sacred land to worship? That might not be the case. It might just be a subsidiary land of ours back then. One genius after another appeared. Some argued, while others ignored them. Soon, these voices disappeared. 7 or 8 experts appeared. The purple-haired Madonna, the silver-haired Zhan Wushuang, the sage-like Xian Wuji, the sinister Mingyu, and the incomparably cold Curse Soul. When these people walked out of the tunnel, the surroundings became quiet. Outside, the human race's sun and moon were restless. These were the geniuses of the heavens and the top geniuses of the heaven hunting list. If they were killed, all the races would vomit blood. However, these people all had experts protecting them. This time, there were over 100 geniuses, and there were also over 100 Tao protectors. Almost all of them were at the sun and moon realm. At this moment, the sun and moon were everywhere, and all the races had poured in their capital. At this moment, a genius with long blood-red hair laughed and said, "Where are the geniuses of the human race? Come out and have some fun." Battle Tower. Someone said indifferently, "Blood Fire Demon Race, don't give our demon race any more trouble." That youth scoffed and said with a sneer, "Stop telling me what to do. Our Blood Fire Demon race is not your vassal." Madwa Na, don't you agree? In front, Madwa Na ignored him. Battle Tower didn't care and laughed, "Where's Qin Fang? Where's Huang Teng? Why don't you come out and play?" Arrogant. Arrogant. Some of the human experts cursed in their hearts. The killing intent of the tens of millions of soldiers boiled, and even the sky changed color. The battle tower didn't seem to care. It was just killing intent. Who hadn't seen it before? He was a 5th-level mountain and sea realm expert. Very strong. Of course, he wasn't on the heaven roll, but the earth roll. At this moment, a loud voice sounded out. "All living beings of the 10,000 races, do not cause trouble, do not slaughter the people of the human race, and do not fight in the main city. Those who disobey will be killed without mercy." Humans, experts above the age of 100 must not have any conflicts with the geniuses of the 10,000 races. You can kill the Tao protectors. The first half of the sentence made some of the humans furious, but the second half was suddenly filled with killing intent. I understand. We humans also need face and fight equally. We don't need to care about the words of the geniuses, but we can kill the Tao protectors. At this moment, the Sun Moon Man with the axe, surnamed Wu, the head of the 300,000 strong warriors of the War God Hall, walked out. He sneered and said, "Kids are playing house. Why don't you play with them? Don't the blood-fire demons like to fight? Come on, chop them to death and play with them." As soon as he appeared, many human experts sneered. On the side of the blood-fire demons, a rough man beside the war tower glanced at him and chuckled, "Wu Ji, you're already at the 9th level of the Sun and Moon realm. Do you want to fight with me? How boring would that be? Since Lord Gu Shan is here, why don't you play with him?" In the crowd, a burly man with a larger build tilted his head and glanced at this fellow. He said in surprise, "Oh, the blood-fire demon race has learned this? They've improved. Forget about me. The immemorial giant race is just here to watch the show. If I want to fight, I have to be at Qingjin's level. It's not appropriate for me to kill Wu Ji." Gu Shan was an expert from the immemorial giant race on the Tao manifestation board. This time, he was not the only one on the Tao manifestation board. He was also here to protect the Tao. He was escorting a genius of the giant race. Seeing that Wu Ji seemed to be about to fly into a rage, Gu Shan laughed and said, "Wu Ji, I'll speak the truth. I'm straightforward. If you want to fight, just kill the fellow from the blood-fire demon race. However, there are also experts from the incipient demon race here. We've just arrived. It's not good to see blood." After saying that, he laughed and said, "Don't bother with these juniors. Just be arrogant for a while. In the heavenly battlefield, you human Suyu is still the best. You beat them up like grandsons. Now that Suyu can't come back, they only clamored a few times. Don't take it too seriously." Wu Ji glanced at him and snorted. He looked at the expert from the blood-fire demon race with disdain and sneered, "At least you're sensible. The blood-fire demon race, I've killed the most people from your race." The expert of the blood-fire demon race didn't care and casually said, "Kill as you wish. Our race has many experts." It was so straightforward. Our race didn't lack experts. Other than Invincible being less than the sure demon race, the other experts might not be less than them. They were all fought. If they didn't fight, how could there be so many experts? Of course, even if they fought, there might not be. But if they fought, robbed, and won, we would go home. The mess was the entire demon race's responsibility. The sure demon race had to pay the bill. With the blood-fire demon race as the vanguard, they would have to contribute. The blood-fire demon race might have died many times over the years, but they also earned a lot. After the fight, they would pat their butts. As long as they didn't die, it was fine. They would go home and cultivate. The incipient demon race would have to go out and settle things. As they spoke, young men and women appeared once again in the passageway. There were also some experts protecting the path. Upon seeing them, many people from the human race had complicated expressions on their faces. Those at the bottom weren't too clear about the situation. The sun and moon of the higher-ups all knew about the situation. Some of these young men and women were low-key and frightening, some were arrogant and frightening, and some were extremely vigilant. They looked around to investigate the situation. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2063. 2063 Chapter 455, Nanyuan Ruins 3. It was the first time for many people at the human realm to come here. The scene quieted down. Some of the geniuses from the 10,000 clans who came first smiled, some didn't pay too much attention to it, and some looked at Maudwa and the others. Maudwa and the others didn't even look at the group of people behind them. Maudwa took a step in the air and walked forward. He said softly, "Let's go to Nanyuan and take a look. I wonder if there's a second Suyu in Suyu's hometown." He was only a little interested in Suyu. As for the others, he was not interested. At this moment, someone among the group of young men and women transmitted his voice, "Test them. These guys are probably the geniuses on the heaven hunting list. Mannerhead wants us to try. Be careful. Don't be careless. The geniuses on the heaven hunting list are all strong people. We are all from the multiple divine languages department and are invincible among those of the same level. We can just try." Among the group of people, some secretly transmitted their voices, while others remained calm and collected. None of them immediately showed off their strength. Some of these people had already become the overlords of a small world, and they had fought countless battles. They were not as reckless as they had imagined. Even those arrogant people remained calm and collected. So what if I'm arrogant? However, I don't pick on others. Sometimes, being arrogant is also a form of protection, making others fear you. At this moment, a few of these young men and women flew out, attracting the attention of the geniuses of the 10,000 races. One of them, a short-haired man, bared his teeth and smiled. Suddenly, his expression changed as he said, "How dare you touch me?" After saying this, he shouted, "Set up an array and kill the enemy." In an instant, more than 10 divine runes appeared from the 3 people with him, directly imprisoning a genius of the demon race. A sword appeared in the short-haired man's hand, and he slashed out. There were more than 10 sealing divine runes. As for the imprisoned demon genius, he roared crazily, and his blood surged into the sky. With a boom, the divine runes were blasted away. Pucci. The short-haired man stabbed his sword into his opponent's head. Blood flowed from his head, making the demon genius look even more ferocious. "You're courting death." Boom. The short-haired man's expression changed slightly as he punched out. Without saying anything, he dragged the other 3 and instantly entered a barrier formed by divine runes. In the blink of an eye, the barrier disappeared into the void. Everything happened too quickly. The demon race genius went crazy. His face was covered in blood as he roared, "You're courting death." The young men and women behind him silently calculated and ignored his roar. Someone chuckled. "It has nothing to do with us. We don't know them. Go look for him. Everyone, disperse and return to your respective manners." As they spoke, everyone sent voice transmissions. Demon Genius, 9th level Ling Yun, ranked 17th on the profound board. How can he be so difficult to deal with? That was Shangming from the Great Shang Mansion, right? The 4 of them worked together to restrain him, but he actually broke through the restraints. Shangming also has the strength of the 9th level of Ling Yun, but he actually didn't manage to kill the genius of the profound board with one strike. The group of people were actually secretly shocked. That Shangming was also a genius. He was from the multiple divine arts department. When he worked together with the other 3, he instantly restrained the demons. In the end, he was actually broken through the restraints by the other party. This was somewhat terrifying. Was the profound board that strong? The group of people quickly transmitted their voices. As for the demon genius, he couldn't contain his anger and wanted to take revenge. However, those few people had escaped. When he looked at the others, there were groups of nearly 100 people in total. On his side, there were quite a number of people who looked like they were watching a show. They were also testing each other and gauging the other party's strength. No one wanted to help at all. Madwa na. The demon roared loudly, "They ambushed me and bullied me with numbers. Aren't you going to do anything about it?" Madwa na, who had already walked quite a distance away, felt a little helpless when he heard that. Without saying anything else, he threw a punch. Boom! With a punch that was more than 1,000 meters away, his yuan qi exploded. A huge shield appeared instantly and exploded. Xiangming and the other three were among them. This time, the divine runes exploded and the four of them spat out blood. The pale-faced Xiangming did not say a word. Another divine rune appeared and dragged the few of them away before disappearing from the spot. They were all at the 9th level of Ling Yun. Modwa was the same. However, at this moment, the surroundings were shaken. Was this the number one person on the heaven roll? A punch was thrown from over 1,000 meters away. Xiangming and the others, who were not weak previously, were severely injured by his punch. The four of them were heavily injured, and perhaps one or two of the divine runes had completely exploded. Modwa didn't chase after them, nor was he interested. He turned around to look at those people. He calmly said, "I'm not your Tao protector, nor am I in charge of protecting you. I have my own matters, so you can do what you want. If you're killed by someone, that's also your business. I'm here today, so I'll stand up for you once. There won't be a next time." He then looked at those humans and calmly said, "Don't provoke me. You're not good enough, or rather, only by killing will you remember the lesson. Then I don't mind killing you now." It was extremely quiet. Modwa smiled and his long hair danced in the wind. Soon, he left. His voice sounded again, "If Su Yu is willing to leave the city, I am willing to fight him. If he doesn't leave the city, then forget it. After suffering a few losses, I will not enter the city again." There was a smile in his tone. Su Yu could fight. However, if he was in the city, then forget it. That guy was not an honest person. He would trap and kill him. It was better to leave the city and fight. Zhan Wushuang and the others also had indifferent expressions. They did not look at those human experts or the geniuses of the 10,000 clans. These people were extremely proud and did not want to fight with these people. In an instant, they all left and disappeared. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2064. 2064 Chapter 455 Southern Origin Ruins 4. Boring. Even if there was a sun and moon amongst these human geniuses, they still felt that it was boring. Sun and moon. It wasn't like they hadn't killed them before. The entire heavenly prefecture fell silent. Amongst these human geniuses, someone mocked himself, "It seems like we've been ignored and underestimated. These heaven hunting list geniuses don't seem to like us." This was the truth. Even though Xiangming and the others had taught the demon geniuses a lesson, they still didn't attract any attention. Someone said calmly, "It's a good thing. If they don't like us, then so be it. It's also good to broaden their horizons. How could there be so many experts in the small world?" The sun and moon appeared one after another, and their auras shook the sky. Of course, there wasn't a big battle right now, so the feeling wasn't obvious. Once the battle started, it might be a spectacular sight that they had never seen before. At this moment, someone said with a smile, "Human geniuses, don't be scared by them. They're doing it on purpose." At this moment, a human-shaped creature with yellow hair and gray hair walked out. He said with a smile, "I'm from the 5 Elements race, and I'm a friendly race with humans. My name is the Floating Earth Spirit. Let's be friends. We're new here and have just reached the human realm. Everyone, be friendly. Don't fight." The group of people looked at him silently. The Floating Earth Spirit seemed to have heard of it before. Some people were ready to make contact, but before they could do so, a huge mountain came crashing down from behind the Floating Earth Spirit. F***CK. The Floating Earth Spirit cursed, "Shirzun, what are you doing?" Boom! As the huge mountain crashed down, a stone man walked out. I've been unhappy with you for a long time. It's good that you've reached the human realm. I'll kill you. Rumble. The battle erupted in an instant. The earth shook and cracked. The floating earth spirit merged into the ground and fled rapidly. Meanwhile, the stone golem was in the sky, moving mountains to bombard him. The two of them left after a short while. The others were stunned. These two were so strong. They seemed to be able to fight the mountains and seas. These two were on the earth roll, right? Were all the earth rolls so strong? They were both in the Ling Yun realm and were also Ling Yun. The difference was too great. There were people like Modwa, the floating earth spirit, and Shan Ming and the others. In an instant, the expressions of these newly entered multi-divine literature department geniuses changed. They weren't weak either. However, how could there be so many monsters? Shan Xiong alone swept through all the multi-divine literature department geniuses. As for Shan Xiong, he was only on the heaven hunting roll previously. He had only recently entered the profound roll. Shan Xiong had swept through all of them until he met Su Yu. Only then did he lose. In other words, most of the people here were not as good as Shan Xiong. Otherwise, Shan Xiong would be a joke. There were very few people who could match Shan Xiong in the same realm. Compared to these people on the earth and heaven lists, there was naturally a huge gap. There was not a single person in the vast human realm who could enter the heaven list. In the past, only Su Yu and Qin Fang had entered. After Su Yu left, the ones who made it onto the heaven roll were also the cursed souls of the heavenly abyss clan. In the human realm, many geniuses nurtured by the large clans did not make it into the heaven roll. Although some of those who came from the small worlds were powerful, if one were to say that they were stronger than these freaks, then they had overestimated the large clans. A pile of chicken feathers. The battle between the floating earth spirit and the stone venerable disappeared from the heavenly residence. In an instant, many people were depressed and disheartened. The human realm experts, including the Tao protectors of the 10,000 races, watched silently. No one cared about them anymore. If they couldn't pass this stage, then they would be useless. They had to adjust themselves. Countless geniuses entered the heavenly battlefield and felt powerless. There was no lack of experts of the same level. There was no lack of experts who could kill you with a single punch. If they were all in despair, then they wouldn't be able to cultivate. After everyone left, Wu Ji sighed and said, "I'm not too disappointed, but I'm not too amazed either. I was still thinking that these little fellows would be able to let me see some amazing freaks." Speaking up to this point, he muttered, "If we want to talk about stunning, it would still be Su Yu. That brat, the last time he came, he pretended to be Cui Lang. I didn't even see him clearly. It's a pity that he won't be able to return this time." He felt a little regretful. At the side, Yi Hongyan said indifferently, "Not everyone is Su Yu, and not everyone is Yi Badian. He's too monstrous and doesn't have a good ending. I think this Modwa Na might not have a good ending either." Modwa Na was also very stunning. He was only at the 9th level of Lingyun. It was rumored that this guy might be able to fight against the sun and moon. Of course, Modwa Na didn't seem to have fought against the sun and moon before. It was hard to tell if it was real or fake. Such a guy was already extremely terrifying. He had always occupied the first place on the heaven roll, except for Su Yu. Wu Ji didn't say anything. He looked at the geniuses that were gradually disappearing into the distance and gritted his teeth. If you don't attack these geniuses, then kill those Tao protectors. If you kill all of them, even the 10,000 races will cry. Yi Hongyan looked at him strangely. If you don't attack those geniuses, it's only on the surface. In the dark, of course you have to kill them. As long as you can kill them in one strike, who knows who killed them? Could it be that the invincible of the 10,000 races is still watching you? You're taking the invincible's words seriously. Don't you understand what that means? Killing Dao protectors isn't a problem on the surface. Killing geniuses. Everyone, hide a little. It's not like they're not going to let you kill them. This is the home ground of the human race. These geniuses were all well aware of this and ran away quickly. Did they really think that they would trust the human race and not send people to kill them in the dark? What were they thinking? Of course, they were used to it. It was the same in the heavenly battlefield. All the geniuses of the various races had been ambushed before. Those who didn't die were geniuses. Those who died were all useless. Wuxia was shocked. That's true. Then these guys won't attack the geniuses of our race, right? It's hard to say. Just keep an eye on those Dao protectors. As for the geniuses, let them be. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2065. 2065 Chapter 455 Southern Origin Historical Remnant 5. Yi Hongyan coldly said, in the heavenly battlefield, even if Qin Fang and the others are able to pass, the great Qin Manor will not interfere unless the invincible sun and moon take action. If Qin Fang and the other invincible descendants can pass, then so can the others. Don't look for the parents just because you have something to do. If they could not win against others of the same level, it would be embarrassing to call them parents. Wu Ji wanted to say something, but he stopped himself. He didn't say anything. It was simple. The people who came this time were all top-notch geniuses. How could the human race have so many people of the same level to contend against? Suyu didn't care about what happened in the heavenly residence. As time passed, Wan Tianqing gradually finished building many things. At this moment, he looked at Suyu and asked, "Has the box been opened?" "Almost." As Suyu spoke, the box in his hand trembled. He opened it to take a look. Although he had already guessed it, at this moment, Suyu still said dejectedly, "F***ck, it really is a vessel. I thought it was something left behind by that traitor Invincible, or some evidence left behind by Sect Master Tianyi." In the end, it wasn't. He was still somewhat looking forward to it. It wasn't what he had expected. Reality proved that he had thought too much. Suyu was very dejected. In the box was a piece of jade. He touched it. As an Earth Armament Division, he still had a bit of judgment. It was extremely sturdy. At the very least, it was a heaven-tier vessel. The myriad heaven sage's heart was so tired. Wasn't this a supreme treasure? Why did it sound like it was worthless in your mouth? This is the heavenly imperial jade. It is indeed a relatively common treasure among vessels. Wan Tianqing smiled and said, "Just this small piece. Take it out and exchange it for 300 to 500 drops of the sun-moon profound yellow liquid. The deal will be done immediately. Do you believe it?" Suyu nodded and very quickly asked in puzzlement, "Where did Cult Master Tianyi get this?" He was only at the 7th level of the sun-moon. Could it be that the Tianyi celestial race was giving this to him? That was too generous. Wan Tianqing picked up the jade piece and examined it. He touched the jade pendant and the sun and moon revolved in his eyes. Some figures kept appearing. Very soon, Wan Tianqing smiled and said, "It has little to do with invincibility. Maybe it has something to do with the starry mansion. Maybe he was lucky, or maybe some of the geniuses he groomed got it for him." He took a look and vaguely saw the shadow of the starry mansion. Suyu asked in puzzlement, "Then why didn't he bring it with him?" "Stupid." Wan Tianqing smiled and said, "Don't you understand? He was prepared to shatter his body, or he would be seriously injured. If he brought it with him, it would be easy for him to lose it. Therefore, hiding it in his lair was the safest option. It's not that easy to kill Xiaolongwu. Bringing it with him is the choice of the outlaw. He clearly wants to live." Suyu said in surprise, but I like to bring my treasures with me. So you are a desperado. You are the kind of person who doesn't necessarily want to go back when you go out. Otherwise, it's safer not to carry them with you. In this way, it's not easy to lose them, and it's also not easy to be robbed. If your body is broken, there's still hope to escape, the treasure will not be lost. Being too lazy to say anything, Wan Tianxing said in a somewhat serious tone, "Are you really going to break it and stuff the rest into the fake remains?" Su Yu nodded. At this moment, he had already seen a space taking shape. Su Yu asked in puzzlement, "Don't you need divine runes? If you use a carrier, you don't need divine runes. This is to prevent the fluctuations of the divine runes from being sensed by others." Wan Tianxing explained, "A carrier is enough. Just a broken one will do. But this is the space of the human realm, right? No, it's just a random fabrication. It's very weak, so it needs a carrier to support it." "Su Yu, are you sure you want to stuff all of this in?" Wan Tianxing was a little reluctant to part with it. However, Su Yu said indifferently, "I don't have any use for it now. If I win, it will still be mine. If I lose, all of you will die and I will run away. Just treat it as using these treasures to accompany you in death." Jinx. Wan Tianxing smiled and didn't say anything else. It still made some sense. Su Yu quickly said, "If I don't die and the items are lost, you have to compensate me for these things. The Great Xia Manor and you, the manor head, have to compensate me." Wan Tianxing smiled and said, "Sure. Make a note." Su Yu quickly made a note and wrote down all the treasures. "Manor head, give me a stamp." Wan Tianxing was helpless. "Get the Xia family to stamp it." "Why are you looking for me?" "Manor head, you and the Xia family will have to stamp it." Wan Tianxing was extremely helpless. "I'm even burdened with a huge debt. There's no reason to say this." Soon, he gave a low shout as his aura erupted in a small area, causing the dragon pearl to continuously crack. However, the objects were all very powerful, and even the 10,000 heavenly saints had no choice but to go all out at this moment. In the next moment, his aura became even stronger. One had to know that these objects were all left behind after destroying the invincible. One could imagine how sturdy they were. After a while, with a rumble, an extremely powerful force erupted. Myriad Heaven Sage continuously controlled the force and fused it into the space. A huge space took shape in his palm. In the next moment, a sun-moon mystic yellow pond appeared and absorbed Su Yu's remaining sun-moon mystic yellow liquid. It merged into a stream of water and was stuffed into the pond. After a while, a large amount of heavenly yuan qi was stuffed in. There were also some other treasures and ancient artifacts. This included a large number of books, some of which were just made by Su Yu. In the end, the jade pendant and the iron piece were also put in. The myriad heaven sage continuously used the river of time to wash the entire space. Gradually, the things that were brand new just a moment ago became old, as if they had experienced countless years. "Come in and see the effects." Su Yu took a step in and entered a new space. It was ancient and simple. Numerous huge houses and courtyards appeared in front of him. The rich heaven yuan qi made the space very large. Su Yu suddenly said, "There's still something missing. Ruins are usually inhabited by people, right? Will there be a sparring match? Will there be some traces of being used? Is this old or almost used?" Zhou Quan. Wan Tianxing nodded and quickly made the arrangements. Su Yu continued to stroll around the small city. It was as if he had really returned to the ancient times. It was as if the world had changed. "Manor head, is it all right if there are no corpses?" "There's no need. Because there are almost no corpses in the ancient ruins. It's possible that they were all vaporized at that time. They were all shattered by someone in an instant. It's possible. Suyu nodded and continued walking. After a while, he said, I've never been to the ancient ruins. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Huh? Wan Tiansheng was stunned. He looked at him. You've never been there? Suyu said calmly, so what if I've never been there? Wan Tiansheng was stunned and speechless. It was impossible. It was impossible that you had never been to the ancient ruins. I really want to retrace your past. How could you not have been to the ancient ruins? Then, those cultivation techniques of yours. I'm a genius. I deduced them myself. Unfortunately, no one believed me. I can only say that I have the ancient ruins. Suyu said gloomily, that's not right. I didn't even say it. Everyone said it themselves. If I don't refute it, it will come true. At this moment, Wan Tiansheng only had one thought. I don't believe it. Impossible. Are you kidding me? Self-taught to become a genius? You have 360 enlightenment points. Self-taught to become a genius? You haven't finished casting your body after dozens of times. Who are you trying to fool? Wan Tiansheng frowned and said, that's not right. If you really didn't get the relic, then there might really be a relic in the south, west, and north. I always thought that you took it away. You didn't want to disclose it, so I didn't care. But you said that it wasn't you, then, the south, might really have a relic. Yes, he thought that Suyu had taken it. Therefore, he didn't care too much about it. It was fine if Suyu didn't make it public, including Lu Wenyan, Xia Longwu, and the others. In fact, they all thought that Suyu had taken it. A long time ago, Lu Wenyan said that there was a relic in the south that Suyu had opened. When he was young, he had sensed Suyu's abnormality. And today, Suyu told Wan Tiansheng that he had never been to the ruin. At this moment, Wan Tiansheng's expression changed slightly as he looked at Suyu. Could it be that this kid had entered and he did not know about it? Strange. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2066. 2066 Chapter 456 Heaven doesn't give birth to me, Suyu 1. Wan Tiansheng didn't believe it. But to be honest, Suyu didn't even care about these treasures. He had thrown them all out. Was there a need to hide it from him at this time? In that case, Suyu might really have never been to the ruins. Helpless, he shook his head. Whatever. If there wasn't one, then there wasn't one. If there was one, then there was good. He continued to perfect the fake ancient domain. As he looked at it, he wanted to snatch it away. Sigh. He had money. 2 items, no, 3. In order to obtain the items, the myriad clans in the heavens had many massacres in the 9th layer of the sun and moon. This was great. Other than the fact that this ancient domain couldn't conceal the light of the Tao, there was no difference between the remaining true ancient domains. As for the light of the Tao, if you didn't achieve the Tao, how would you know that you couldn't conceal it? Perhaps there was a formation that you didn't know about and didn't notice. The 10,000 heavenly saints meticulously polished it. As for Suyu, he was still communicating through the mask. He directly and angrily cursed, "By ye enforcers, why are you being so polite with those dogs? Tell them to directly hand over the intelligence system and the names of all the personnel. It's not that we want intelligence and then go through them to transfer it, but to directly control it. They won't agree. Forget it if they don't agree, the myriad clan sect is nothing. By ye enforces the law, I think the heaven hunting pavilion still needs to establish its authority in the human race. And to be honest, the myriad clan sect has some conflicts with our business. If they don't know what's good for them, we'll destroy them. They also provide intelligence, assassinations, and other services. This is our competitor. If we can't take them in, we'll have to beat them to death. They had to either buy them or take them down. This was what a large company that spanned across tens of thousands of worlds had to do. This was called a monopoly. Just look at Lord Xiaoho. He had monopolized the business of the great Xia Manor and opened the Xia Trading Company. He had made a lot of money over the past year. Their whereabouts are hidden, and they also have experts. It's very difficult to kill them. Killing some to establish dominance is enough. We don't have to kill all of them. If we kill some, we can continue to cooperate with the rest. If we don't cooperate, we can continue to kill them. Su Yu was impatient. Bai Yi was a fool. He didn't even want to talk to him anymore. Do you still need me to teach you this? I don't really know how to do it, but I've seen it too many times. During his time in the Great Xia Manor, Su Yu didn't learn anything else. He learned how to bargain, swindle, and be shameless. If you can afford to offend someone, do so. If you can't, don't offend them. In conclusion, you bully the weak and fear the strong. Bai Yi actually didn't understand these principles. It was a waste of his strength. Bai Yi was left with no choice but to say, Xianjiu, how about this, I'll add your channel into the 8th Elder's communication channel. If there are some situations, you can directly communicate with the 8th Elder. He had leveled up. Of course, he hadn't become an elder yet, but his status had risen. Previously, Su Yu had communicated with the law enforcement elder through Bai Yi. Now, he could directly communicate with the other party. The law enforcement elder was also a big shot. A top-notch big shot. He was almost invincible, equivalent to a few top-notch mansion masters. Now, Su Yu's circle in the heaven hunting pavilion had quickly spread to this point. Above him were the pavilion heads and department heads. Su Yu was a little nervous. Very quickly, he consoled himself. This was nothing. It was as if he had never seen the world. How many important figures had he met? There were even a lot of undefeatable figures. Quasi-invincibility. This old man by my side is a quasi-invincibility who can kill undefeatable figures. Are you afraid? I'm not even afraid of this old man. Why would I be afraid of you, an elder of law enforcement across space? The 10,000 heavenly saints who was building the ruins, glanced at Su Yu. He kept feeling that this kid was scolding him in that instant. Forget it, I'll ignore him. This kid might have remembered that I didn't seal that list just now. When Su Yu said to stamp it, he went to break the object. This huge debt should be left to the great Xia mansion. He, Wan Tianxing, was penniless. Other than a little money, he had nothing. He couldn't pay it back. Even if he died, he wouldn't be able to pay it back. Su Yu naturally didn't remember this. He quickly realized that he had joined a new channel. A new chat channel. Your subordinate Xianjiu, by Mian of the Xian tribe, greets Elder of Law Enforcement. Heaven Hunting Pavilion, Branch. 8th Elder quickly replied, there's no need to be so polite. Xianjiu, Bai Yi said that you want to eradicate the Myriad Clan sect. You have to understand that the Myriad Clan sect was established by the Myriad Clan. It's up to the master to beat the dog. Su Yu directly said, Master, beat them all together. Elder, what is the purpose of our heaven hunting pavilion? Are we afraid of the 10,000 clans? Have we never killed the 10,000 clans? We can only pay them and do any mission. We can sell positions, sell intelligence, anything. Don't the 10,000 clans hate us? Yes. They can't wait to destroy us right now. As long as there is a chance, they will immediately join hands to kill us, but they didn't. Why? It's not because we are afraid of them and become their dogs, but because they need us and the Heaven Hunting Pavilion as an organization. Previously, Su Yu had those stone sculptures in the ancient city take action, which led to the appearance of the headquarters of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. At that moment, did the elders think that the 10,000 clans would show mercy when they found the headquarters of our pavilion? The Heaven Hunting Pavilion is not afraid of anyone. It's built on our mysteriousness. We are not afraid of anything. We have the information of the 10,000 clans in our hands. It's not because we are strong, but because we are polite to them, that's why they spared us. Many white-masked men and even elders have been killed by their fishing methods. When they can kill us, they will not hesitate at all. Eighth Elder, let me say something very disrespectful. If it were not for your high status, I suspect that you might have been corrupted by the 10,000 tribes and intimidated. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion does not rely on fear to rise up. We rely on means. We rely on the fact that we are inseparable.